the president has said this entire time. I believe he stands by it. I believe his policy is being driven by that. He's not going to give any ultimatums that he might have to walk back, saying we are not going to get involved or we definitely are going to get involved. I think the biggest, most credible asset that the president has brought to the global situation that we are now sitting on the edge of our seats watching is that whatever America does is going to be because America has determined it's in America's best interests. That, to me, is America first. A lot of people might think that America first means complete and total isolationist policy, where if it is not happening on our homeland, we are not involved. Let the world burn. We will sit here and we will stay away from all of that, because if it's not directly affecting, in the immediate look out your front door and see it future, that we should not be involved. Now, some people might also think that the possibility of us moving in to assist Israel, which we have not done yet in an offensive capacity. We've certainly done it in a defensive capacity, in a supply capacity, helping provide Israel with the things that they need to defend themselves. It's a good question, isn't it? Does the denuclearization of Iran, is that a necessity for the safety and security of the United States of America? That is a tough call. That is a tough decision. And it rests in the hands of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, who America sent with a majority in the November election, slim, but still a majority. And I'm asking you today on the YouTube live chat poll, do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States' involvement in Iran? It's a fluid situation. So I'm asking you, do you trust Donald Trump? Are you more focused on the principle of don't do anything over there? You're not happy with even the assistance that we've provided to Israel's defense. Stay away. Don't do anything. Pull everything out and then let them sort it out. Or you might be thinking, I sure hope that we get involved and we get involved fast. But the question right now is, do you trust Donald Trump? Ryan, are you consuming the Twitter feed, the reaction from a lot of the people right now? The MAGA camp is it's funny to look at the MAGA camp. It's not a monolith. It's not a contingent of voters that have had to sign some sort of document saying they agree to all of the above. Otherwise, you can't be in MAGA. Are you following it?
Yeah, very much following it. It's actually one of the most interesting things about this whole thing is because, whatever America does matters to everybody in the world. And right now, you have a coalition of people who are prone to support this president through thick and thin, and there has been a lot of thick. And yet on this topic, there's a split. And so that doesn't happen very often. So it's interesting to watch, and it's interesting to watch the administration kind of respond to that split too.
A lot of people, there are a lot of people who are saying, like, I trust Donald Trump. I trusted him when I voted for him. I trust him now. I trust that he meant it when he said it, when he said, America first, that he understands what that means. There are also a lot of people who are questioning their support of MAGA or Trump and saying it doesn't mean what I thought it meant. Unless I know that account, that social media account, to be true and accurate and consistent over the course of time, I don't believe any of. I am skeptical of every single thing that I am reading right now on X. There, I think I retweeted this. I'm going to pull this up right now. There is a tweet out from an account called Red Pill Media. It says, I am an American citizen, born and raised in America. I refuse to die for Israel. And they did the background on that account, and the Twitter, Red Pill Media X, shows the email associated, Abdullah Abbas 673 at gmail.com, name Abdul Abbas, location Pakistan. Could that person be vacationing in Pakistan and be a lifelong born and raised, as they indicate, American citizen? I suppose. Do the Pakistanis have an interest in a strong and capable Iran? Yeah. Yes, they do. Do people in Pakistan, if they're supporting Iran, do they have interest in sowing discord and the very, very flexing First Amendment location of X here in the United States of America, trying to make sure that people know that there's conflict? Yes. I don't believe any of it. That doesn't mean that none of that is true. It doesn't mean that every single tweet isn't accurate and from the heart of an American, as this person says, American citizen, born and raised. I refuse to die for Israel. I mean, I don't know. The internet phrase is stay frosty, which is a military phrase because I had to Google it. Why are we saying frosty? Have you seen that?
No, I've never heard that before.
Have you seen that, Ethan? Heard the phrase stay frosty?
No, I don't think so.
It means like stay cool, stay calm. Don't jump on
Keep your powder
everything.
dry.
Yeah, which is the opposite of what people are doing right now.
Yeah.
There are people freaking out about Donald Trump's willingness to aggressively engage in the ending of the Iran regime. And like, none of that has happened. And we're in a position right now in American history where Donald Trump is probably the most reserved president, the most measured president I've experienced in this moment, to have taken the amount of time that he's taken and the caution that he's taken to not do what everybody's freaking out that he's going to do.
And if this was his first term, you'd say, oh, well, let's see what he does here. Hopefully he doesn't do what every other president has always done and get involved in an endless war. We've seen what he does. He's been president for over 4 years. He is extremely restrained. But the other thing that he does that we're not sort of giving him credit for is he leaves every option on the table.
Yeah.
Because he's good at negotiating, and you have to do that if you're in a negotiation.
It's kind of like Iran's choose your own adventure book.
Yes, it is.
Which chapter are you going to read next?
Flip back to page 63 to see if Tawny wants to get a new soda for her friend.
Tawny, you're so goofy. Do you have his True Social account pulled up?
I pulled up JD Vance's tweet from today, which, both of them are tweeting. Well, I would say Trump is just stream of consciousness.
Are you talking about JD Vance's political tweets?
Yes.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
Forget about that.
Well,
Forget that even happened.
about the war, but yes.
About David Riboy or whatever his name is?
No.
Okay, that's something different then. Let's get to Donald Trump's True Social posts, because I'm going to share this with myself because I want to share these on the stream. That's Donald Trump has created a social media platform. Remember when he created True Social that Elon Musk did not own X. So Donald Trump had been kicked off of X. Donald Trump didn't have a place to go talk. So he said, I'll make my own. This is the type of man that Donald Trump is. If there is an obstacle in the way, what ends up happening? He says, let me build around it. Let me build. Let me create. It's economically, foreign policy, culturally, we are seeing Donald Trump thrust into the situation, a massive chaotic situation, and everybody's focus and attention is right in this space. We've carved out our space. This is the arena. This is the Coliseum where the political fights take place. And these are the rules of the political fight. And the Democrats are very good, mostly because they write the rules. And when they can't win with those rules, they rewrite them. And Donald Trump's like, I'm not doing it. And he builds a new Coliseum. He goes to build a new arena where he gets to compete. And the people come. They leave the old place and they go to see what Donald Trump is going to do next. Why? Because we don't know what he's going to do next. And in a conflict, in a situation like what we're facing right now, that is an incredible asset to have. People talk about what Iran's going to do. Like, everybody knows what Iran's going to do. They're going to, you were talking about this yesterday, Ryan. They're going to lob bombs over into Israel. And then they're going to be like, no, we need a ceasefire. Let's talk about this. And then they're going to regroup. And then they're going to lob bombs over into Israel. And they're going to say, no, let's have a ceasefire. And then it's just going to go over and over and over again. Everybody knows what Iran is going to do because everybody else always does the same thing. All the players, we are in a merry-go-round of doing the same thing over and over and over. And people are dying everywhere. And Donald Trump says, get me off this merry-go-round. I'm not doing it. Israel says we're going to attack Iran. Reports indicate that Trump said, you're going to wait 60 days to do that. I'm going to work on getting a deal done with Iran. I'm going to give them 60 days to do it. If they can't get it done in 60 days, all right. Guess what happens on day 61? Iran doesn't come to the table. Iran doesn't want to have that discussion. And Trump says, okay, you want to talk about good cop, bad cop? I think it was Mike Pompeo told a story of the first term when Mike Pompeo was the Secretary of State. And I think that they were in, I don't know if it was Russia or North Korea. Anyway, kind of enemy territory. And the Trump administration was talking about what they were going to do. And John Bolton was in the back of the room. And John Bolton's presence as an absolute war hawk, just like a dog being held back by a chain trying to get a bone across the room to jump into some sort of war. Donald Trump leaned in and be like, he's crazy. And if you don't want to work with me, you're going to have to deal with him. And they're like, we'll work with you. It kind of feels like in a certain kind of way that Donald Trump has said, you're going to work with me. And if you don't work with me here, you're going to have to deal with Israel, who is justified in their desire to end every sense of power structure that you have. You've threatened people. You've killed people. You've invested in state-sponsored terrorism throughout the course of the entire region. You've murdered people because you hate them. And we will defend our right to exist. And so Trump's saying they have justified anger. And they're ready to get an avengement for the people who you've killed in Israel. Now, if we don't want to go down that road, I offer you a conversation and a different pathway off of this necessary end as Israel sees it. And Iran didn't come to the table. And the only way that Donald Trump is effective in saying, I'll give you 60 days, is if on day 61, he goes, fine, we'll have it your way. Because parents, when you parent children, it's effectively the counting to three thing. I am not a count to three parent. When I tell you to do something, you do not get 3 seconds to consider if you'd like to comply. Guess what? I'm your parent. Do it. And if you don't do it, if it's something I've told you to do, and this mostly works with younger kids, it's too late by the time. If you're counting for your 15-year-old, you've got a problem. I can't imagine telling Charlie, you need to do the dishes. 1.
Whoa.
He'd be like, 2, 3, mom. That's what teenagers do. If you count when they're young and you continue to count, you continue to say, like, I'll let you consider for a second what your choice is. Then, yeah, they're going to be petulant when they're teenagers. They're going to be irresponsible or disrespectful as they grow older. And Donald Trump has said, these are your options. It's up to you. Choose your own adventure, Tawny. Is that what you said?
Yeah, Tawny.
Tawny. Is Tawny a boy or girl? Or is that also
a choose? Girl. She wants to go get a soda with Bill, but you're not really sure what she should do. Should she go to the cave, and explore for treasure? You should
write a choose your own adventure for the show on a Friday. And we should run a poll every segment and let people choose.
Oh, yeah.
Will you do it?
I'm down with that.
I don't even understand 100% how that works.
I don't either.
But I bet you'll figure it out.
No, we'll just do it. It won't be figured out by then.
Win another MBA for creativity. And buzzer beaters.
The only entry in the Choose Your Own Adventure category for the MBAs.
Yeah, which we also paid to have created. Man, do you trust Donald Trump? That's today's YouTube poll. And I think we're going to take some phone calls on it at 1:25 today. That'll be right after we talk to Jim Carafano about it. Such an important voice on this particular issue. Jim Carafano is going to tell us, as he always does, how he sees it, He usually, like, everything is dialed to 11, and he usually gets it down to about six or seven. Ethan gets it. We're going to talk to Carol Roth when we come back. I'm excited to have her on the show. She's talking about AI, and she is on the edge of her seat watching what AI is going to potentially do to us, to our culture, to our way of life. And I am right there with her. It terrifies me. It's very scary to me. Do you have a fear, Ryan, of AI, or are you like, I welcome our new overlords?
Well, publicly, I welcome our new overlords.
I got you.
But privately, no, publicly, I welcome our new overlords. There's nothing else to say.
You can't
say
the fine print on the air, bud. Carol Roth on the Annie Fry Show next.
Say that I did it for the glory, but don't think that I did it for the fame, yeah. I did it for the love of the game, yeah. And this is my chance I'm taking. All them old records I'm breaking. All you people watching on the TV, you go ahead and put your bets on me. Hey, I've been waiting my whole life to see my
Point Pest Control, point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. Mosquitoes are taking over. Of course, it's the summer here in the Midwest. Yeah, you're going to have mosquitoes. You do not have to be feasted upon with these mosquitoes, though, while you are enjoying your outdoor space. Are you having a grad party? Maybe you're experiencing a bridal shower. Wedding season is upon us. Point Pest Control can secure your event from those nasty, annoying mosquitoes. They can come spray ahead of time. They can take care of the area that you're going to be in so that you can enjoy your event mosquito free. It's an amazing way to clear out that space so that your guests can enjoy that area and you don't have to succumb to the mosquitoes that are just absolutely awful. Become a quarterly plan subscriber like I am. I'm very happy to have them out to my house every quarter to make sure that we stay bug free in our home. Just call 636-798-0023. Call 636-798-0023. Mention Annie Fry and save 10% on top of any specials that they are running. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
The Range St. Louis West is launching the countdown to 250 years of American freedom this July by giving away 5,000 rounds of 9mm ammo. 5 winners will get 1,000 rounds each, and winners are going to be drawn July 1st. Don't miss your shot. Enter now at therangestl.com/ammo. You have to be 21 or older to enter. It's open to Missouri residents and Illinois residents with a valid FOID card. No purchase necessary. therangestl.com/ammo.
When's the last time you gave your home's exterior a little love? Hi, it's Kim, and if your siding is cracking, it's fading, or just doesn't stand up to our St. Louis weather, it's time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design because they're experts in James Hardy siding, which is this durable, low-maintenance option, and it looks beautiful. Plus, you have customizable colors and textures, and so you can give your home a completely new look while protecting it for decades. Don't wait until the small problems turn into big ones. Visit lakesidearty.com to schedule your free consultation.
Get ready, St. Louis. The Cubs are coming to town June 23rd through the 26th. The Cardinals host baseball's best rivalry at Busch Stadium in a series that always delivers. The Chicago STL rivalry is legendary, and the energy in the ballpark will be electric. It's the perfect way to spend a summer day or night at the ballpark with passionate fans and nonstop action. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/tickets.
Hey, this is Sonny Gray, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Catch a Cardinals game on your next date night or friends night out. Whether it's love in the stands or laughter with your crew, nothing beats ballpark vibes under the lights. Cold drinks, great eats, and Cardinals baseball. Check out Friday Night Live at Busch Stadium and enjoy happy hour price food and drinks all game long. Every Friday home game. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com and make memories that go beyond the scoreboard. Busch Stadium, where great nights begin.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates and get ready to succeed again. Get an affordable online skills-based education to move your career forward. UMGC offers no-cost digital materials in place of textbooks in most courses, low-cost tuition, and over $21 million in scholarship opportunities each aid year. Find out if you qualify at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
It's deeply concerning because once AGI were to come online, it could easily take down our power grid. It could infiltrate our financial systems. It could get into our banking. It could just destroy us. And AGI, when it's trained on all this data and it knows about human history, for AGI there isn't, and that's the problem that no one's really talking about. And AGI is, when we talk about AI taking people's jobs, like that's not true. That's not what we're building. However, if you were to build AGI, it would take people's jobs. It could destroy the world as we know it. It's more powerful than like a nuclear weapon.
Ooh, more powerful than a nuclear weapon. Nuclear weapons are sure in the news right now. Tyler Saltzman speaking there about AI and how that could potentially affect our everyday existence. And our friend Carol Roth is back with us to talk about the threat AI might have on our future and what kind of attention we should be giving it. Carol Roth is a two-time New York Times bestselling author, and she also has a free economic newsletter that you can check out at carolroth.com/news. Carol, welcome back to the show. Thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, it's so great to be back with you chatting instead of just going back and forth on social media.
Amen to that. I'm super I think the lack of knowledge and understanding often breeds fear. And that's the way I feel about artificial intelligence. It scares the crap out of me because I don't understand it. But you've written an article here. We have to act now to keep AI from becoming a far left Trojan horse. Tell us what we need to know about what could be upon us.
So obviously, I do not pretend to have a crystal ball and be able to perfectly predict what is going to unfold with AI, but I think there is a possibility and a probability. And the possibility is that, it becomes a tool that does displace some people, but not everyone. And then there's the possibility that it develops super intelligence and takes over everything and ends up killing us all. But let's go with the probability that it's a tool. The concern that I have is that just that fear that you were talking about of what it could be will be weaponized by politicians, not just by the AI itself, to bring about sort of communist policies, if you will. Anything that looks like universal basic income, anything that looks like government control of resources, or we should all share this generally. We don't actually have to have this unfold in the, possibilistic way. Just the fear of that is enough for them to create the, appearance of a crisis. So that's kind of one piece of it. And then the other piece that is a concern is the artificial intelligence itself and who is building it. And the far left has really taken control of so much of the culture, the mainstream media, of Hollywood. And now it's taking control of building the AI. And what is going into these models really becomes the foundational infrastructure. And most of them are very left-leaning. Probably the one that is considered the most centrist right now is Grok, the one that Elon Musk has built in accordance with X. And even that, if you ask it some questions, you get some questionable responses.
Certainly, yeah.
So if we don't get more of a system of checks and balances into the infrastructure, our new infrastructure going forward is going to be left leaning at its foundation, and we know what that can beget.
I think it's anytime there's a lack of information or something is progressing so quickly in its development, the American public is going to be left behind. And that is you're exactly right. That's when witting politicians can sneak in and essentially play upon the lack of knowledge that exists in the American people. And we've seen this to an extent in the social media, the way social media has taken over. It's so rapidly developed where people have won campaigns. I think YouTube was a huge part of Barack Obama's initial victory, and they got a hold of it before the American people really understood what it was. Donald Trump was able to use Facebook to help in 2016, and now we've seen expanding ways like in podcasting that have helped elections, specifically Donald Trump this last time. But I think that the lack of understanding that the American public has, the fear is that what can be used against us, by the time we figured it out, it's too late.
Yes, and I think that a perfect example, you talked about all of that on the political side, but in our everyday lives, think about the COVID quote unquote emergency that, had we had, more focus on the information that was available to us, had we not had the quote unquote emergency measures of the Fed coming in to support Wall Street and this idea of 15 days to slow the spread that turned into, a million years, we would have probably gone into our mitigation strategy very quickly and not, had all of the long-term damage that we had to the economy, to education, to mental health. And so I think that's a very good benchmark for what could happen with AI, is that they make it into a bigger deal than it actually ends up being. But because they've put in all of these policies, it ends up becoming a different kind of crisis that was really created more by the government than the technology.
Oh, the overemphasis of government power control in all of this is frightening. You've written a book, You Will Own Nothing. And I've heard that phrase before. And I'm wondering if the book that you've written, I don't know if it touched on AI at all, but it almost seems like the artificial intelligence play here in a government that is seeking out, or at least an aggressive progressive party that's seeking to take control of everything and fill in all of the important parts of our American lives so that we have to rely on the government all of the time. When you say you will own nothing, is that does that give some people in this country comfort to think I won't have to own anything anymore?
Well, not if you look at history, because ownership is sort of foundational to wealth, and the people who haven't owned things throughout history have not been happy, they have not been wealthy, and very often they've starved to death. So, having that ownership gives you agency, gives you the opportunity to have freedom and to build your own wealth. So that's the story that they're telling you with the phrase you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. But that hasn't proven out through history. And I think you make a really important point of technology being a conduit, which I do address amongst many other things in the book, which it could be, kind of looked at in two different ways. One could be looked at in sort of a social credit way, as they continue to use technology to digitize everything from currencies to behaviors. And that, becomes the foundation of, if you get to have freedoms or not, which is really scary. I think the other issue is that technology has become so powerful. We have many of our individual rights, protected by our Constitution in the real world, but we don't have them protected in the digital sphere. And when you have these technology companies, in effect acting as de facto governments in many ways, it becomes challenging because now you don't necessarily have free speech. You don't have a guarantee of privacy. You don't have sometimes even control of your intellectual property or other property rights because you're in a different sphere. And so I think that as this moves very rapidly, this is an important area for people to focus on, is how do we protect those natural rights that were endowed by our creator in this digital sphere when it's not the government that we're dealing with directly, but actually more powerfully, it's technology companies.
We're speaking with Carol Roth. Very excited to have Carol back on the show with us. She is a recovering investment banker, a 2 times New York Times bestselling author. Her latest book is You Will Own Nothing. And I encourage you to check out her free economic newsletter at carolroth.com/news. I wanted to ask you a little bit about what was going on in Chicago. Now, are you from Chicago? Do you live in Chicago?
Yes, all of the above. So I grew up in the suburbs of Chicago and have lived in many different places, and we keep coming back, and everyone goes, why? Why do you live in Chicago? And, I call it the family tax, right? All of my family lives here, right?
Yes.
And so if you want to have the time with the people that you love and you can't convince, 25, 30 people to all get up and move, then you live in the city. And it's actually, by the way, it's a great city that just has bad governance that keeps getting worse. So, yes, we have a mayor with a 6% approval rate, which is pretty amazing that there are 6% of the people who actually think that he's doing okay.
Yeah.
And just a slew of issues. I will say the one bright spot in all of this is that crime has gotten better. And it's gotten better because we have switched out our DAs. We have now made judges more accountable when they release people. And go figure, when you actually create some accountability, you get less crime. So we've had fewer carjackings, we've had less murders. So it is trending in a good direction. But our governance is ridiculous. We just had something that was voted on today, which was an ordinance that the mayor put out against small businesses, saying they couldn't have a sign in their window that covered more than 20% or 25% of the window, which if you think of a sale or you think of places that wouldn't have privacy, and the fine was something like $500 a day. So people made a big deal about it, and fortunately the zoning commission deferred it, which means it's off the table. But just to think that, this is the way to treat the backbone of your economic community is just so absolutely ridiculous.
I always have to remind myself, like, okay, what was the intention of a law that says that they're going to regulate the size of the signs in the small business windows in Chicago? Like, what were they thinking? What were they thinking? But why?
I mean, what was their stated goal, or what was the real goal? The real goal is always a cash grab, right? They're losing money. People are fleeing because of their ridiculous regulations and taxes. And instead of just saying, okay, well, we're going to fix crime and lower taxes and make this a welcoming environment, they're looking to extract every dollar they can out of everybody, whether it's red light cameras or measuring the signs. I think they had a stated reason that, they needed to be able to see inside and make sure that, nothing bad was going on. But it's one of those, ridiculous reasons that's usually given for something that everybody could go, yeah, that doesn't make any possible sense. And, in terms of a cost benefit analysis. And imagine, this is supposed to be, in my opinion, a cash grab. How many people have to go on the government payroll to go measure the signs and to make sure people are in compliance with this, right?
Like, we got to figure out what 20% is. That sign is this big. The window is that big. Oh, it looks like 21%, $500 back in our pocket. And you're paying all these government. It's just, it's obnoxious. Right. Another story that is out there right now about Brandon Johnson is he's apparently investing in Black people and on behalf of reparations. He's going to give out grants to Black people. And he says it's not racist. It's reparations. You said 6% of the Chicagoans approve of this guy. Is he gonna run for re-election? Is he gonna?
I don't think so. I think that there's they're already courting a slate of names to possibly replace him. And it's funny, having been through several cycles. I remember when Rahm Emanuel was our mayor, and we were all very critical of the things we were doing. And now we would all get down on our knees and beg Rahm Emanuel to come back and be mayor again, which he probably won't do. I think he has his eyes set on senator or governor or something like that. But we got Lori Lightfoot. Then we go, oh well, it can't get worse than that. Oh, just kidding. And we got Brandon Johnson. So it seems like with a 6% approval rating, there's not much worse. I mean, we could just basically pick anybody out of the phone book in Chicago, and they would do a better job. But I think given the structure of any other place, you would have a recall and have him removed. It's just so difficult to do that, and the political machine and the teachers unions and all of these forces are so big and powerful in the city, it's difficult to do, but I do not think we'll have him. But again, I've learned you got to be really careful what you wish for, because just because you get change does not make it actually better. Even if the person was so terrible you couldn't imagine somebody worse, we've managed to do that. Oh, and by the way, we're watching that unfold in Chicago, over on the East Coast with New York, who's about to elect somebody who potentially is even worse than Brandon Johnson. And so we're just kind of, going, hey, don't make the same mistake. Great city. Don't go down the same path. And it looks like they're headed in that direction.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Carol. I'm a downstater, Illinois, living in Illinois across the river here from St. Louis. So our show has 3 Southern Illinoisans, and we feel you on that family tax. You got to be around the ones you love. That's priceless.
That's right.
Carol, thank you for your time today. It's a pleasure to have you back with us.
Always great to be with you.
All right. Bye-bye. She is a 2-time New York Times bestselling author. Her book is You Will Own Nothing. She's a small business advocate, of course. And I encourage you to go to her website if you want to access that free economic newsletter, carolroth.com/news. Wiggins America, when we come back, this is the content that you are here for. Mistakes that men regularly make that annoy the women they love. Did you write this?
No.
Did Mrs. Wiggins write this?
No, but we are going to find out how to. This is for you guys. This is to save your marriage.
This isn't for you.
There's death by big things and there's death by 1,000 cuts. I'm trying to save you from doing the 1,000 cuts.
All right.
It's the little things.
Some exposure. I wish you would have done this article when my husband was still teaching, and probably not sitting and watching the show right now.
No, you want him to hear this.
Mistakes that men regularly make that annoy the women they love.
Yeah, you want him to rectify these things. This is for the guys.
The natural, healthy thing for a marriage is to have this discussion here on the radio instead of me with Jared at home.
The most natural thing you can do to save your marriage is listen to Wiggins America.
That is not scientific advice. Don't sue us. Wiggins America next. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
The Retirement Advisory Group, they're online at retirementkey.com. If you are looking to retire soon, if you're 59 and a half or older, magic birthday number, that's a half birthday you're going to celebrate. If you feel like maybe there's been a major shift at work and you've worked a place for a really long time and you're thinking to yourself, you know what? I think I might like to be done here. Wonder if I can retire. Well, call the Retirement Advisor Group and find out what the reality of the situation is, the truth that you will find out, the honesty that you will be given when you talk to the Retirement Advisor Group will be empowering for you. Just call 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Connect with the Retirement Advisory Group, with Thomas Helbig, with my friends Bob and Tammy Kershaw, and start this discussion now, and you will be well on your way to that worry-free retirement. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. It doesn't cost you a penny to make that phone call, to have that appointment. RetirementKey.com.
Big news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange. And millions like you are joining our news revolution. Newsmax is now the 4th highest rated news channel, just behind CNN. Reuters says we're one of the top news brands in America. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and more. So download our free Newsmax app on your smartphone or TV and start watching. President Trump says Newsmax is truly terrific. Get the free Newsmax app and check out Newsmax shares on the stock exchange. Go to newsmaxinvest.com. That's newsmaxinvest.com. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such an offer would be unlawful.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have
have done it again. With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
We always ask you a question on YouTube. Today's YouTube live chat poll is, do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States involvement in Iran? Yes or no? Let us know. And, of course, you can see the results when you vote. We give you the results at the end of the show. It is 12:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
The Mark Cox Morning Show.
Wednesday, the White House says the big, beautiful bill is key to Republicans winning the midterms. We'll talk to Michael Watley, RNC chair, at 7:35.
The Mark Cox Morning Show. Weekdays from 5 to 9.
Wiggins. Oh, Wiggins.
Man, that hurts. That was painful. No, that was the broadcaster for whoever. Who is Wiggins? What's his first name?
What?
Is that Kenny Albert?
The NBA player.
It might be. Oh, Andrew Wiggins. I thought you meant the broadcaster. The player is Andrew Wiggins.
He's done, right? Did he
No.
retire? Oh, I thought I saw that he was maybe gonna call it quits.
Former number 1 pick. I've been looking forward to doing that one all day, though.
Okay.
Titanic,
Well, no,
right
what-
into that.
Have you ever seen Titanic, Ethan?
Yes, I've seen the Titanic.
Did you watch Spaceballs last night?
Not last night, but I did think about it, and I chose not to.
Not last night. You said that like you watched it this morning.
No, you said to watch it this week. You did not say to watch it last night.
I told you to watch it last night because the Cardinals were off yesterday.
You said that would make sense. I agreed with you.
God, he's
I
like
didn't do
arguing
it.
with the teenager.
I gotta go with Ethan here.
Yeah, no, he's not wrong.
He's
That's
not
why it's
wrong.
annoying.
But last night was the optimum time to
Here's
watch it.
here's the thing where you're gonna get mad at me. I watched another movie that I never watched last night for
Which
the
was
first time.
what?
I watched Ocean's 11.
That's good.
I've never seen it.
That's
and
a
then
good
I
movie.
actively threw it. I'm like, crap, I really should be watching
Yeah,
Spaceballs right now.
Speaking of rambling, here is a few things that men get wrong in their relationship with women. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these by you, Annie. You
Okay.
tell me, yeah, that's something
it's-
that men do need to know that they're getting
So,
wrong.
is there a difference between yes, that would be annoying, or like the inference isn't that Jared does all these things and it's a secret and I haven't told him yet?
No, not at all. This is just you speaking on behalf of women as the only woman in the room.
Women.
Yes, all
Okay.
women, and saying, yes, that's a thing.
Call me Jane.
Okay, fair enough. First one, Jane. They get philosophical. Men get philosophical during cuddle time.
I can't. I don't know what that means. I
Well,
don't experience that.
enjoy the silence. Wait
It sounds
until
like
later
something ridiculous you would do.
to explain why you think the NFL is rigging games for Taylor Swift or whatever. Like, now's not the time to drop your bomb.
It's very philosophical.
Well,
This
that
is
would
a-
be something that would be annoying to women. Dropping bombs during
Yeah.
cuddle time. Don't do
Number
that.
2, Dutch ovens. No, number 2, the guy watches TV, reads, or scrolls the timeline during important conversations.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. You can disagree with me if you want to, but you men do not multitask, and we women know that. So if you're watching that reel or scrolling, you are not paying attention to what we're talking about.
This goes both ways, though. This goes both ways.
I think that two-part response to that. Women, I can listen and scroll. I can do 3 or 4 things at one time and give my attention to all of them. However, it is rude and disrespectful if you're having an important conversation to still juggle multiple things. I'm saying I don't think most men can handle doing multiple things at once.
So
I don't know. Is that
what I usually do and what I get in trouble for is it's when we're in the car and we're having a conversation.
And you're driving and not looking at her?
I'm mouthing
Look at me when you're driving.
I'm mouthing the lyrics
I
of the
actually
song
have to tell
that's
my
playing,
husband to not look at me while he's driving.
or quietly singing, and she'll like stop like she's getting interrupted. She's like, "Are
Wait,
you
you're
listening?"
singing the song in the car while she's talking to you?
Either mouthing it or I'm singing it quietly while I'm listening to her. And then she'll
No.
like, "Are you listening?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm listening."
I'm with Hannah on this one. No,
But I am actually listening.
not as much as you could be, which is the same thing that I'm saying that women should be doing. If just because you have the capability of multitasking a little bit more, you shouldn't if there's an important conversation going on.
No idea what you just said.
I know, it's because you're doing something else.
Men don't understand the value of cut flowers.
Facts. You
Here's what it
have
says.
to buy her flowers tonight.
Here's what it says. I know that paying money for something that's going to be all wilted in like 3 days seems crazy, but as I've learned, sometimes the room needs a little brightening. So just go
Don't
with
buy the expensive flowers. Buy the $8 bouquet of flowers from Walmart.
Is cutting my neighbor's flowers for my wife acceptable?
Does your neighbor know you're doing it?
No.
Oh,
I don't think so.
Do you live in an apartment?
Yeah.
That's even worse. It's not even.
His neighbor is like
I
the
knock
city
on the door.
square.
Hey, you mind if
It's
I
the
head
city.
to your back deck real quick?
I'm just
I gotta...
cutting my tax dollars worth. You mind your own business.
Yeah. You know who paid for these? Me.
These specifically.
Here, I'll give you a couple extra bucks anyway.
Listen.
You have to go to different areas
The
around the town
flowers-
to get
No,
one of them.
you can't cut people's flowers that aren't yours.
Okay.
But you can buy the cheap flowers. And especially
Does she care?
Yes.
See, my wife's gonna go, oh, these are the cheap
These are the
flowers.
cheap
No,
ones. You don't
no,
even. I'm worth
no.
$8 to you.
You are disrespecting your wife when you say
She's
that.
disrespecting my flowers.
No, you know what your wife is going to say when you give her flowers?
Aw, what about a bracelet?
No, she would say,
No.
"How much were they?"
No, she
Yeah.
would say, Annie made you do this, didn't she?
She's gonna turn the actually that's a fact.
That's a
I thought we were
fact.
speaking as Jane and Joe here.
No,
not
I'm
as
talking
Ryan
about
and Annie.
Mrs. Wiggins. You should buy her flowers. If you buy her the $8 flowers instead of like a birthday gift, that's a risk.
I always get her whatever her birthday year is. Well, all years. I've never done that except for paper. I'll just clarify. When it was the paper.
You've
year.
never done it.
Next
Let's
one.
see, absolutely, you've never done that.
Here, this is kind of a weird one, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Men insist on a level of grooming from women that they are in no way prepared to reciprocate.
Okay, did you say that gingerly?
I said it the way I said it. You heard it,
but
it's recorded.
There is an inference and room to read into what you just said there.
Sure.
So, what are women annoyed by? That men don't groom?
Men expect a level of grooming from a woman that they are not keeping themselves.
Next, I don't know. Ethan, this is where if you were Brad, we would be like, Brad, we could just do it anyway.
Yeah.
And then
Brad, he's probably listening.
He probably is.
Me personally, no. Ryan, 100%.
You personally what?
I expect Ryan to
I
groom
don't
more.
do that.
You don't groom?
No. I don't expect that fancy level of grooming.
Now I got to burp.
Oh yeah. Good
'Cause
radio.
you inhaled while drinking.
I inhaled it so I didn't spit it all over this technology that we have one person in the company to fix.
It's just like an old proverb. There's two wolves. It depends on which one you feed. But I'm talking about your breathing tube and your
I thought you were
feeding
talking about
tube.
the grooming.
There's two wolves in your throat.
And
One of them you breathe through.
Each one's a tube.
The other one you eat through.
Okay.
Are there men and women out there fighting over the private grooming?
Well, they aren't now. Now they know.
Now they know.
Men,
Honey, I was going to tell you something, but I was listening to the Annie Fry show at 12:55, and I decided not to talk about your personal grooming.
I tell you what, the way I pictured this segment going was that there were men and women out there in a beautiful park having a picnic.
You talking about this one out here?
They're feeding each other grapes and they're listening to this
pooping
segment.
on the tree.
Wait, I think I mistook what grooming means.
It's too late, Ethan.
I think I'm just now realizing that.
It's too late.
I'm putting together the pieces and saying, wait a second, what did I just say to them?
It's going to be fun to go back and listen to the podcast.
Oh, God.
That's why I took the pitch. I'd rather strike out looking on that one. Go on. You
just took it to the forehead.
Put
I
that
tried to be
backwards K on
very
the
careful,
board.
and you asked me a lot of questions. I didn't understand what you're asking. And then we just assumed that Ethan would bail us out.
Stop. How many more do you have?
A ton.
2 o'clock hour.
Okay.
If you can. We could do
I
that.
can stick around for the 2
I
o'clock
thought
hour.
you meant how well
Thanks
they
for
dressed.
asking.
Oh, God.
No, Ethan, we're talking about bikini waxes.
I mistook.
I always wear a one piece.
All right, Celine. Jim Carafano, next hour. Don't go away.
I believe that the heart does go on.
All right, gentlemen, Infinite Vitality and Glen Carbon. You need to learn about the possibilities that exist for you while you are entering into your middle age. Ew, gross. Don't like that word, but it's the truth. And how frequent, do you say things like when you stand up, like, oh, I guess this is just what it's like when you turn 40 or 50 or whatever it might be. Gosh, don't succumb to that. Don't just give in to that. You have so much life left to live to the fullest, and Infinite Vitality is there to guide you through. You can fight against weight loss, resistance, difficulty losing weight, loss of libido, or your desire for sex has gone down. If you're feeling depressed, if you have brain fog, all of these things creep in as you get older, and you can do something about it with real science and facts and help from the amazing team at Infinite Vitality. Men, give them a call. Trust me on this. Ladies, write this number down for your man. You'll be happy you did. 618-486-1888. Mention Annie. Save $50 towards hormone or weight loss services. Infinite-vitality.com.
From the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
News. A U.S. official confirming to Fox News the Pentagon is moving more fighter jets to the region and extending the deployment of assets already in the Middle East. This as fighting continues for a fifth day between Israel and Iran, with Israel's defense chief warning Iran's supreme leader could end up dead if they keep firing missiles at civilian areas.
And that is in line with the Truth Social post we've just seen from President Trump, saying we know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He's an easy target, but is safe there. We're not going to take him out, kill, at least not for now, but we don't want missiles shot at civilians or American soldiers. Our patience is wearing thin. Now, Israeli fighter jets, meantime, have been busy in the skies over western Iran. Israel claims to have hit dozens of surface-to-surface missiles. The IDF says they also hit air defenses like surface-to-air missiles and radar, backing up Israel's claim of air superiority over Iran.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. President Trump meeting with his National Security Council after cutting short his G7 summit trip to Canada. There's a growing debate in Congress about possible U.S. strikes on Iran.
We are in a very strong position to negotiate with Iran to get them to give up their nuclear enrichment program and give up trying to get a nuclear weapon. That's what has to happen to get lasting peace here. That's the only alternative for peace.
Republican Senator Pete Ricketts says they shouldn't undermine any negotiations, but there's some bipartisan support and opposition to requiring approval from Congress for military action. More charges related to protests over immigration raids in L.A.
We are united in our efforts to ensure that individuals that choose to cause violence and destruction in our communities are held accountable.
U.S. Attorney Bill Asaley, alongside the L.A. County prosecutor, just announcing one man faces counts including assaulting a police officer. The LAPD arresting more than 500 people since protests began. America is listening to Fox News.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tuesday afternoon, partly sunny skies, warm to hot and humid. Maybe a spot shower, 92 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, a couple of spot showers, 74. On Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy skies, windy, a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Some could be strong to severe, 88. Take that into Wednesday evening. All gone on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
CiviaLaw.com in Missouri and in Illinois. They've got 7 locations across the bi-state region. I want you to think about people who are in your life. If you haven't experienced this firsthand yet, do you know people who've lost their parents and they didn't have their affairs in order? And it just becomes so stressful for the people who have to put together the pieces of what is left behind after you lose a loved one. Or the converse. You had friends whose parents did all the things and had everything in line, and it allowed the mourning process to set in very quickly, and you can process the emotions that go along with the business of having to deal with an estate. Civia Law can help you make sure that you've taken care of this important life transition with you and your spouse. You need to have these questions asked and answered, and they are the very best at Civia Law. The first 10 listeners right now to call the number I'm about to give you, they are going to provide a free strategy session. This is normally $300. You're going to get it free. You just got to call and get your appointment on the books. Get it right now. Be one of the first 10. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. In Edwardsville, East Dalton, Swansea, Centralia, Mount Vernon, Wentzville, and Creve Coeur. Give them a call. CiviaLaw.com.
Have you ever had a wedding reception in your yard or scheduled a party, birthday party, or whatever kind of party at your house, and during the party or a couple 3 hours before notice your air conditioner is not working and it is the hottest day of the year? Or have you come home from a vacation and your house is baking? My experience has been that's when it will break. It just happens that way. So if that does happen to you, or say, again, you don't need to have a party or you don't need to be baked. But if your air conditioner breaks and you need to get the cold air back in your house, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. That is 314-293-2600. Again, the easiest of numbers, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. It's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Here's a great deal for the month of June. Upgrade your backyard right now with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mention my name, Mark Cox, and you'll get 20% off your next project. That's how it works from the great company that's been around since 1968. You're going to love working with them. Fantastic installation crews. You need to go check out their showroom. It's in Chesterfield. Beautiful displays down there of their fences, their decks, their pergolas and sunrooms, the screen rooms, patios, and more. You can check out that maintenance-free decking material they have, which is absolutely beautiful, and you don't have to worry about taking care of it every couple of years. Of course, they do steel and chain link fences as well, if that's what you're looking for. Financing options are available at 0% interest, and they do free in-home estimates at no obligation to you, even free project design. Be sure and check them out today and tell them Mark Cox sent you. It's ChesterfieldFence.com.
We, without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need, while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can can support your IT everything.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here? An end. A real end, not a ceasefire. An end. So something that will be permanent. Yeah. Or giving up entirely. Is that okay too? Are you close there? Is that possible? Is that possible in the next 24 hours? Certainly possible. Complete give up. That's possible. Yeah.
So President Trump, a very loud jet noise there because they're on Air Force One. He says he wants an end, not a ceasefire. He wants them to give up. Is that even in the cards? Is that something Iran would ever even possibly do? Our friend Jim Carafano joins us once again, senior counselor to the president and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, so grateful to have you on with us today to talk about what's going on between Israel and Iran. I just want to open the floor to you. Tell us what we need to know.
Well, to answer your question, look, there's one of two outcomes here that are likely. One is, the regime might collapse. I will say that every day it doesn't significantly decreases the likelihood that it will, right? Because authoritarian regimes are so brittle that even people that run them don't know how fragile they truly are. And the only way you really know is it's the day when everybody runs through the streets and the soldiers don't shoot them, right? That's the day that it's all over. That's one option. Option two is the regime endures. If they endure, it's unlikely that they would come and make a public peace treaty, a deal like the Egyptians did. Because you have to remember, in this part of the world, weakness is seen as dishonorable, and it really it's a stigma almost. And so people, it doesn't mean people don't accept defeat, but they don't like to publicly acknowledge it because that makes them look weak, right? Mm-hmm. So the Iranians might just go quiet. But the likelihood that they would do what Trump wants, which is publicly renounce their nuclear program, their support for terrorism, the surrogates, that seems a bit that to get a revolutionary regime to do that seems a bit beyond the pale. But honestly, you always have to listen to Donald Trump. He has aspirations and he has American interests. And when they come into conflict, American interests all the time. He would like the fighting to end. He would like to see peace. But he also has said that it's in America's interest that Iran not have a nuclear weapon and threaten its neighbors. And so if there's a choice between those two things, he is going to accept the Israelis destroying their nuclear weapon program and severely diminishing their regime.
We're speaking with Jim Carafano. So do I hear you saying that Donald Trump's America First policy might include participation with Israel to denuclearize Iran?
I don't know what that means, right? So so we all know everybody knows the president rushed back. Now, we don't know what he rushed back for. Did he rush back to plan a U.S. strike on some very difficult facilities, or to facilitate or an Israeli strike, or were they thinking the regime's going to collapse and they're going to prepare for that? We don't know which one of those it is, and it's just speculation at this point. But we all know that. I think that right now, the president is concerned about protecting Americans, protecting Israel, and he's not going to do anything to impede making sure the Israelis do the maximum effort to eliminate as much of the Iranian infrastructure as possible. Beyond that, I don't know.
Jim Carafano speaking with us at this point in time about the heightened conflict in the Middle East. There's a part of me who feels like this is the tale as old as time. There's conflict. Of course, to many of us, it seems almost biblical, if not biblical. Is there anything different right now about the circumstances of this conflict at this moment in time that makes this instance different?
Well, I mean, I can explain how we got here, and it's really, quite obvious in retrospect. The most effective strategic deterrent, because remember, the number one goal of the Iranian regime is to perpetuate the existence of the Iranian regime of the revolution. The most effective deterrent is what's called the offense-defense mix. It is the ability to punch the other guy in the nose, but then if he tries to punch you in the nose, to block him. That's the most stable strategic. Matter of fact, the most stable strategic environment is when both sides have an aggressive offense-defense mix. Well, the Iranians put all their money in offense. So one thing is the Israelis say, well, if you attack us, Israel, we will unleash all of our friends on you. The Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, they'll all descend upon you if you attack us. And of course they famously put a lot of money into their ballistic missiles. Well, what's unique? Or why did this conflict happen now? Well, all the Israeli surrogates have been basically crushed. Right, we crushed the Houthis. The Israelis flattened Hamas. They defeated Hezbollah. So they can't unleash the surrogates on Israel. That's not a threat because the surrogates have been sidelined. So then all they have is their missile threat. And we know that the Iranian missile threat, they have a lot of missiles, but they're not precision weapons. So they're not doing precise deep attack. They're not accurately targeting things. They're just firing a rain of things. Well, one is the Israelis can block some of that. Two is now they have freedom to basically fly over the skies. And I think if you look at the numbers, Iran has gone through about half its missile force. So it has less than half its missiles left with a significantly decreased capability to use them. And of course, the Israelis have freedom to fly over the skies and continue to attrit the missiles and the forces. So the peak threat that the Iranians pose to Israel is gone. And of course, they just can't invade Israel because there's other countries in the middle. So it's these asymmetries that often lead to conflict. It's why when China says we're going to be ready to invade Taiwan by 2027, doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to invade Taiwan by 2027, but they won't have the capacity capability to do that. And that's why the U.S. defense buildup is, well, yeah, by 2027, we're going to make sure that there's no way that you have the overwhelming advantage to do that. If you think why did Russia attack Ukraine? Well, they thought they could wipe them off the map in an hour and a half. And, it turned out that they couldn't. So we live in an age where powers are not big and strong enough to run parts of the world, but they're big and strong enough to hurt a lot of people. And so we do live in an era when what I call conventional deterrence, which by the way makes nuclear deterrence more valuable. The smart guy puts a bet on that, and every nation should think about: can I defend my infrastructure? Can I defend my population centers? Can I protect my people from attack? And then if you could also have the capacity to threaten your enemies, well, then you're having a really good day.
Jim Carafano speaking with us right now about the conflict in the Middle East between Israel and Iran. In your assessment, is the American homeland in a position of heightened danger because of this conflict?
Well, I don't think from Iran. Iran has a pretty bad track record of doing hybrid warfare overseas. Even their cyber stuff's not really that good, and they've had a number of assassination plots and other things in the past that haven't been very successful. So if the Iranians pulled off some kind of hybrid attack or thing on the U.S. homeland, it would be very uncharacteristic because they don't normally have a good track record for that. Nobody's going to help the Iranians. Like the Russians aren't going to come to their aid. China. So I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of reasons why there's heightened threats to the American homeland. Probably not from Iran as a result of this conflict. And I will say, I think the prospect of this escalating into a wider conflict, which you often hear, that is, I think, is extremely low. I think there's almost no likelihood of that. And that's dramatically dropped from a couple of days ago when I thought it was not very likely.
Jim Carafano, I want to, before we let you go, I know that the Middle East, it looks like the State Department is going to brief here shortly, but I saw that you commented about the parade this weekend and the 250th birthday of the United States Army. I was able to go back and watch it after the fact, and just the history that was presented during that event. There was like a 3-hour event, was pretty overwhelming, pretty amazing. And it was controversial. Do you have a parade? Do you parade tanks down Washington, D.C.? Just wanted to get your thoughts on the event.
Well, look, as a guy who marched in a lot of parades and hated every one of them, it's very hard for me to say, oh my God, that was great. Because I can't think of anyone I enjoyed. But I will say, one is, what that was largely the world's most cost-effective recruiting commercial for the U.S. military. I mean, I thought anybody who thought about serving their country would watch that whole event and say, I want to be that guy. The difference is everybody can watch the Super Bowl and say, I want to be the quarterback of the Patriots, right? But, and they can't, but they could also join the military. So I thought it was, and it is a culminating moment. And this is the thing is we are not a 50-50 country. We are an 80-20 country. And what you saw in the streets of Washington, D.C. is what the 80 want. It is okay to be patriotic in America today, which honestly, even 2 years ago, I don't think you could say that. But we always say, well, it's 50-50 country. It's not. It's an 80-20 country. And 80% love this stuff, and when the 20% complain or argue or break something or throw a rock, it's what? Tomorrow you're going to be 19%, and then the next day 18.
Yeah, I think watching the American pride in our history and just absolute bravery was incredibly heartwarming. My grandfather served in World War II in the Army, and I thought of that when you saw that portion in the parade. I'm like, that's my grandpa out there. That was pretty touching for me personally. Well, Jim, we appreciate your service and your time that you spend with us all the time. I'm always thinking, when's the next time we can get Jim on? So we're grateful you had some time today.
Anytime, because Annie Fry's show is the best thing on the planet Earth. We all know that.
Planet Earth. Jim, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Like I said, he always has a way of approaching every situation with a sense of calm and collect, and I think that it's always great to have him here. He also is traveling the world all the time, so it's always good when we can get him on. All right, let's take a quick break. The YouTube live chat poll for today. Do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States' involvement in Iran? Do you trust Donald Trump to make the right decision? You want to call in? You want to talk about it on the air? We'd love to have you. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Are you worried Donald Trump's going to betray your vote for him? Do you think he hasn't attacked soon enough? Or are you just waiting for Donald Trump in his wisdom to do what he thinks is best? Give us a call. We'll do it next. 314-241-9797.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
Ruler Ruler Foods is celebrating that backyard fun that comes along with summer, and they definitely have the savings that you need to do that without fretting about the cost of the grocery bill. How about a pound of fresh strawberries? What's better in the summer than just delicious strawberries? You could do a million things with it. Strawberry shortcake. Maybe you have strawberries on top of ice cream, homemade ice cream, maybe. We love that in our family. But you get a pound of fresh strawberries for just $1.99 at Ruler Foods. And we love the produce at Ruler Foods. We stock up at our house. 80% Kroger lean ground beef for the grill, $3.99 a pound, sold in a 3-pound roll. And of course, the seedless watermelon for $3.99. A big, juicy, delicious watermelon at Ruler Foods for less. Reach out to your rulerfoods.com website to find the one that is closest located to your convenient travels, whether it's to and from work, maybe it's near your home, church, whatever, and start saving with Ruler Foods and celebrate that backyard fun with the savings that Ruler Foods is going to deliver every single time. rulerfoods.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon, and whether you're looking for independent living, assisted living, or memory care, New Perspective gives you the freedom to live the life you love with just the right support. Beautiful apartments, amazing dining, plenty of activities. Check out npseniorliving.com today. New Perspective Senior Living, a friendlier approach to senior living.
Cash for Clunkers is back. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards a new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old entry door, too. It's Cash for Clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Convenient, free, in-home estimates. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
I really need funding to expand my inventory.
Swish Funding can help you expand inventory, upgrade equipment, and boost your cash flow.
Well, okay, but I need funding fast.
Swish Funding provides funding from $25,000 to $2 million with payment terms tailored to your needs and cash in your account in less than 24 hours.
So what's the catch?
No catch. If you've been in business for at least 1 year with monthly revenue of $50,000, you could qualify. Just go to swishfunding.com to apply. That's swishfunding.com.
Men, need a clinic that accepts all insurance, including Medicare? U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peters does. U.S. Men's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. And they accept all insurance, even Medicare, for testosterone replacement therapy. Patients love the staff and the fact that, yes, I'm going to say it again, they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Feel better? Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 12 to 1 p.m. on 97.1. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at noon.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show, live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save now with Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $1,700 on a new AC or HVAC system. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Said you hated the ocean, but you're surfing now. I said I love you for life, but I just sold our house. We were kids at the start, I guess we're grown-ups now.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show.
Couldn't ever imagine even having doubts, but
Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
casually dating, damn, it's all changing so fast. I see it,
All right, so the question that we're asking you on the Annie Fry YouTube channel today, and we're asking you right now with the opportunity for you to call in and give us the yes or the no. to this question, do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States' involvement in Iran? I mean, I don't know how many of you feel like you're a foreign policy expert, but the question is, do you trust Donald Trump to make the right decision? We've got a few lines open still, so I'm going to get to Ryan here and let him answer this question. But if you want to get in line, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. Do you trust Donald Trump in this moment, a very, very important moment in our history? 314-241-9797. Ryan, do you trust him?
He's not above reproach, but yes, I do trust him. I think that he's proven to be very trustworthy when it comes to foreign policy, especially with the Middle East, especially during his first term. So I can't see there being a reason for me to say no to this.
I look at this and think if who is on the face of the planet that would be better in this moment in time than Donald Trump?
Yeah, he's got the experience now. It's not like he's fresh to it, because that was the question the first term is you go, well, he's a businessman. He's never done this kind of stuff before, but he approaches all things through the same lens of negotiation, making deals. And you realize he actually has the right priorities here.
314-241-9797. I'm going to get to the phone calls. Ryan, if you could, I want to mix in some YouTube comments too. So maybe you can find some of those that people have left on the Annie Fry YouTube live broadcast. Let's start with Al. Al, thanks for calling the Annie Fry Show. Do you trust Donald Trump to make the right decisions here regarding the conflict in Iran?
Well, let me just say, what is his decision? Is he all in with Netanyahu?
He hasn't. He's moving with the moment. He hasn't given any ultimatums.
So what decision can I be trusting him with? Here's what I do know.
The question, Al, before you continue, the question is, do you stand with Donald Trump's decision making? So I'm asking you if you trust him.
No, I don't. And can I give you why?
Sure.
Because he's back and forth on the tariffs. He doesn't know what he wants. He's feeling his way through, and he's been making mistakes, and he'll continue, just like any other president. Once you can control the air in Iran, but you're not going to control the land. And sooner or later, you have to do more than drop bombs.
Well, the United States could if they wanted to.
They can. Well, did they do that in Iraq? I must have missed something.
I don't know. I'm asking you about I'm asking you about the question. The question I'm asking you is about the decision-making process of Donald Trump, the decisions that he is going to be faced with, that he's going to have to make right now in Iran. And you've said that you've said tariffs in Iraq.
Decision.
Donald, have you heard, Al? Have you heard what Donald Trump has said about Iraq? Have you heard how he's reacted about what this country did during that time?
No, I don't know what he said. What did he say?
Well, okay, so let's just walk through this for a second here. Al, you're saying that you don't trust Donald Trump to make the right decision right now, and you've said it's because of Iraq, but you don't know what Donald Trump's position was.
I didn't say it was because of Iraq. I said there are examples like Iraq. The point was, people seem to think that you can bomb a country into submission. You cannot do that.
Al, you're making my point for me here, because you're saying that you have a lack of trust in Donald Trump because America has in the past taken approach to situations like this, but you don't know what Donald Trump's position is on the position that America took in an example that you are bringing into the conversation, like Iraq. Like, I think that if you researched...
How about Afghanistan? How about that? That's a little more recent.
What about
Afghanistan? Why did we pull out? We didn't accomplish anything.
Why did we pull out?
Yeah, what did we accomplish?
By pulling out, the murder of American servicemen?
So we went in to get murdered, and we pulled out to prevent the murder.
Donald Trump's not the one who put us in Afghanistan, and he's not the one who prematurely pulled out of Afghanistan to the detriment of...
Right, because Donald Trump was leaving office when the drawdown took place. So naturally, the guy came in the office.
Just real quick, so we're on the 100% same page. Are you saying that the loss of life in Afghanistan, can you get me the exact date on that real quick?
It was September of 2021.
Are you saying that the death there is on Donald Trump?
No, I did not say any of that. See, there you go, putting words into my mouth.
Well, you're making a lot of allusions here, and I just want to make sure we're clear. That's why I'm asking.
I'm making a lot of points that you're not following any of them, because we will always do the wrong thing when we think we can go in and subjugate another country. We can't control other countries.
And how is Donald? But Al, you're talking about the history of American involvement in the Middle East, and Donald Trump has not been status quo.
Okay, well, then if Donald Trump is going to do something different from any other American president and not support Israel, I'd like to see that.
Well, Israel just launched an all-out attack on Iran, and the only statement that came out from the Secretary of State of the Donald Trump administration is, we are not doing this. This is all Israel.
Okay, Israel's going to need more bombs. Where they're going to come from?
That Israel gets their bombs from us.
So we are doing it.
So would you like
drop their last bomb.
So Al, would you like us to disarm Israel?
No, I would not.
Would you like us to disarm Ukraine?
No, I would not. And also, I would not like us to support bombing Iran. Or Iraq.
So wait a second. So are you in favor of arming Israel?
I think Israel should be able to support themselves. Don't you?
Do you think Ukraine should be able to support themselves?
Sure, they should be able to, but they can't.
How is Ukraine different than Israel?
Did Ukraine launch an attack on Russia?
Did Israel launch an attack? Did Israel initiate and launch an attack on Iran?
They sure did.
What do you call October 7th?
That was the Gaza Strip, man.
That was Hamas in Gaza, not Iran.
Also, that's what it was. So when they bombed the Gaza Strip out of existence, well, did we kill any civilians?
Wait, see, you are got strong, broad shoulders with the goalposts that you continue to relocate here. So are you saying you're saying Iran didn't attack Israel first? You're saying Israel attacked
not in this conflict. Remember the surprise attacks? They took out a lot of their leadership. They took out their underground
damn right
facilities. They did. Right, they did.
Damn right they did. And they should and they were completely justified to do that. Do you know that Hamas is fully funded by Iran?
When are we gonna attack?
Do you know? No. And now we got Ethan, I need a map. For this segment. No, Al, I will not hang up on you.
I'm surprised you'd go on this long. I'm surprised.
Well, you don't listen to the show because I don't disrespect you. If you disrespect me, I will hang up on you. If you don't disrespect me, we can have a conversation where we disagree. I'm capable of doing that, and I hope you are as well. Let's go back to the no, Al, hold on. You haven't disrespected me yet. That's why we're still talking.
I never have, but you have cut me off.
Well, you were probably okay. Are we going to argue about arguing, or do you want to talk about the content?
No.
Well, then listen to me for a second. My show, but I want you to be here with me. I think it's a good conversation to have. Do you know that Iran funds Hamas? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
and Hamas did the most egregious thing that I've ever seen in my lifetime, subhuman level attack on October 7th, funded by Iran. Iran is the destabilizer here. They're the funder of it. Now, before you respond to me, you just hung on America the guilt of providing bombs to Israel to attack Iran. You hate America for giving bombs. Just a second. You can disagree with me here in just a second. You just put the guilt on America for providing bombs to Israel to attack Iran, but you absolve Iran from funding Hamas in the most egregious, heinous, disgusting, evil attack I've ever seen in my lifetime. When Hamas goes into October 7th to Israel to put babies in ovens in front of their mothers, you're not going to put Iran on the hook for funding Hamas, but you're going to hang America on the hook for giving bombs to Israel to fight against the people who are subhuman in the way that they have attacked Israel?
I said none of those things.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Just because I disagree with Israel's policy does not mean I support Iran bombing children.
You said that America is responsible for what is going on because they've provided bombs. You're the one who brought America into it. You said America
is involved, ma'am. We are involved.
Okay, thank you for the admission here. But you're saying that Iran is not involved in Hamas attacking Israel. Do you hate?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. If I said that, I didn't mean that they were responsible for it. I meant was they are supporting Israel, no matter what.
Okay, let's get clear. Let's forget about what was said. Let's start over from here, Al. Is America responsible and involved? Are they partners with Israel in attacking Iran right now? Yes or no?
That I don't know, and neither do you.
Oh, no, they are providing bombs. They're providing defense. I absolutely.
But you do know the president and Netanyahu talk, and we don't know what they say, right? You know they have conversations that are top secret unless Texas involved, and then everybody will know.
I absolutely know that Donald Trump and Netanyahu speak to one another. That's not a secret. Now let me ask you another question. I just want clarification. Al, hold on a second. I need one more clarification. You said that you're not willing to say you completely agree because we don't know how involved America is with Israel in this attack. Is Iran involved, responsible in any way, shape, or form with the October 7th attack on Israel through Hamas? Is Iran responsible at all?
If I go by what the news says, yes, they're involved. The proxies are involved.
So you're saying you don't trust the news?
I don't trust Fox News.
Well, what about that's not denied by anybody. Everybody knows that Hamas is funded by Iran.
Sure they are, but what we're getting, you and I are both getting off the point. Just because
no, I have a point. I think I've made it.
No, you stretch your point to try to make my point unvalid is what you're trying to do.
Okay, well, Al, hold on a second. I've given you the whole segment. I've got people holding online. I'm going to give you what I'm going to let you have the last word here. I want you to tell me what you think my point is, and then I want you to tell me what your point is, and then we'll move on to the next caller.
Let's do that. Let me get my point out first.
Tell me what you think my point is.
I think you're going to support Trump no matter what, and even when he makes mistakes, you're going to continue to support him because you're going to have either an excuse or, well, he didn't know. My point is, I love this country, America, and I'm going to put it first, and I'll put it before any president because I think the country's more important than any president. And you know what? The people right now that are behind this president, they think the president's more important than the country. That's what I think.
Al, so just to clarify, you think I love Donald Trump more than I love America?
Yeah, because when Donald Trump violates the Constitution, Republicans like you keep your mouth shut and don't say anything.
Al, thank you for the phone call.
You know what? I'm glad we're able to talk this long. Not sure we learned anything from one another.
I've learned a lot. I gave you 11 minutes, Al. Thanks for calling the show. Thanks for listening.
I really do.
Ryan? Brad?
It's just hard to keep up with. I think the best point that was made in that discussion was I need a map because it just moved all over.
That's what happens.
That is, unfortunately, that is what happens.
Before you go on, Kevin, Tim, and Rich are holding. We're gonna take your calls in the next, so don't go away. Please don't hang up. We'll do another segment on this. But I really want to hone in, and I wanted to give Al the last word on that conversation because I don't need to convince Al that I'm right to feel comfortable with where I am on this issue. The YouTube poll for today is, do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States' involvement in Iran? Yes, Al has gone. I gave him 11 minutes, which by all radio standards is way too long to give one caller. Am I right?
Yeah.
Way too long. But I didn't want to hang up on him. He was not rude or disrespectful to me. He doesn't agree with me, but that's fine. Al's assessment of me and my position on this. Have I answered this question on the show yet?
Today's poll question?
Yeah.
Do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States' involvement in Iran?
Have I answered it?
I don't know. I don't think you have.
Al's predetermined, probably because he listens to the show quite a bit, so he feels like he has some context as to where I might be coming from on this. Al has predetermined that I worship at the altar of Donald Trump, and that if Donald Trump makes some sort of decision that is egregious towards the United States of America, that I will be more committed, that my oath, my commitment, my allegiance is to Donald Trump and not to the United States of America. Now, it hurts me to think that maybe there are people out there who actually believe that listen to the show and have gleaned that I am some sort of Trump worshiper. I don't think that I am, but I also know that I'm not. I've criticized Donald Trump on enough occasions that I have messages and emails from people who are on the other side of the issue, the people who do believe that Donald Trump can do no wrong. And if I criticize them, they don't like that I do that. So I feel like I'm sitting comfortably here. In America, we get to vote. We get to send somebody into the executive office so that when times like these happen, you figure you've got the best possible person who can make the decisions that, quite frankly, you and I would never even, we don't even have a touch of the information required for Donald Trump to do what is best for this country. The amount of intelligence that he has to put him in a position to make the wisest decision, especially then. And if you pay attention to history, you know that leaders in these positions make decisions that will be publicly unpopular, politically calamitous, and they know that they have to make the right decision at the right time and that the politics cannot infiltrate that moment in time when it's really on the line. And the spirit of today's question is Donald Trump one of those people? Is Donald Trump somebody who is going to look at this moment in time and do the thing that is best for America? And to answer the question, yes, he is. Does that mean he can't make mistakes? Of course not. He's made a few. But you have to have somebody in there. We don't have artificial intelligence running the country quite yet. You have to have a human in there who is going to be subjected to human error, but you have to make the best choice at the time. And I think Donald Trump is capable of doing that. Now, I can't speak to Al's thoughts on Joe Biden, but the counter to Donald Trump, the opposition to Donald Trump in this moment in time, had a leader of the party who we know was mentally declined to the point of insufficient, if not even not present, for 4 years, manifesting the moment that we are in right now. The reason we are asking this question about what America should do about Israel bombing Iran is because of the prior leadership and their irresponsibility in letting this moment take place. Is Donald Trump a god? Absolutely not. I have one God, one triune God. I do not worship Donald Trump. He would not want me to. But I do think he's the best man for the job. And all 11 minutes of that conversation with Al, his only point was, if you're a Republican who supports Donald Trump, you're wrong. All of this conversation comes back to one man, Donald Trump, and the hatred, the disgust that people who are oppositional to him, that they have for him. They're blinded by it. It's like a drug. They keep taking the hit of their hatred, their TDS for Donald Trump, and they cannot see clearly. They cannot in good faith have conversations about specific moments in time because none of that matters if Donald Trump is involved, because Donald Trump is Satan incarnate. That's how they feel. And I can't tell you to change your feelings. You can't really change your feelings. I can ask you to think a little bit deeper, but that's probably not going to happen at this point. Al, thanks for the phone call. Thanks for still listening. I know you're still out there, and I appreciate you for that. Carl, Kevin, Tim, Rich, you're up next in the next segment. We've got two lines open, 314-241-9797. Jump in if you want. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Talk lines are open now at 314-241-9797 or 866-455-9797.
ArtisticDecks.net. If you want to enjoy the summer on your own backyard deck, maybe you go to your friend's house, a family member's house, and you go out and you sit on the deck and you enjoy the company of one another. Maybe you got a little music going. Dusk is settling in. It's just so peaceful and serene. And you're like, gosh, I could have this myself. I wonder who to call. Well, if you want it to be your dream deck and still be affordable, you got to call Artistic Decks. You can visit them online at artisticdecks.net or give them the phone call at 314-280-0821. That's 314-280-0821. When you call Artistic Decks and mention the Annie Fry Show, you're going to be connected with some really fantastic people. They've been in here for X's and O's. They're wonderful people. They're incredibly good at what they do. Decades of experience of making that dream deck affordable for people just like you. Ask about their 500 square foot discount. And if you book now, you can get your deck built before the summer is over. 314-280-0821, artisticdecks.net.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FAME to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Big news. Newsmax just went public on the New York Stock Exchange. And millions like you are joining our news revolution. Newsmax is now the 4th highest rated news channel, just behind CNN. Reuters says we're one of the top news brands in America. 40 million Americans go to Newsmax for shows with Rob Schmidt, Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and more. So download our free Newsmax app on your smartphone or TV and start watching. President Trump says Newsmax is truly terrific. Get the free Newsmax app and check out Newsmax shares on the stock exchange. Go to newsmaxinvest.com. That's newsmaxinvest.com. This is not an offer to buy or sell securities, nor shall there be any sale of securities in any jurisdiction in which such an offer would be unlawful.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
Oh, hey, have you heard about our YouTube live chat poll? Do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States involvement in Iran? We're actually taking calls on this subject right now. Yes or no, you can vote online, though, by finding today's date and typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. That's how you find today's date with the live stream, and that's where you vote. 151. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
The news is fast. Listening to your favorite show at 1.5 speed is even faster. Download the podcast of your favorite 97.1 show. Upload it to the Odyssey app every day. All for your listening convenience.
Is this the same guy as Santa Claus is coming to town?
Yeah.
I can tell. I can just feel it.
The Bruce.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
They should do that. Mashup.
Oh, gosh. Why?
That's it.
Thanks, Ethan. Ethan picks the music. All right. I don't have very much time, and I'm wasting it right now talking about this guy. What's his name?
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen, dear God.
Sorry. What? Okay, Spaceballs. That's what I'm going to call you until you see it, Ethan. Spaceballs. Get me a clip.
It's a pretty good nickname. I wouldn't mind being called Spaceballs.
Well, I can call you that too.
Fits you better.
I've got some phone calls to get to here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of them, but I'm asking the YouTube live chat poll question. Do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States involvement in Iran? Yes or no? I'm going to put you on. You're going to get about 60 seconds, and I'm going to get through as many of these as I possibly can. Let's just go here in order of calling. Tim, thank you for calling the show. What do you think about Donald Trump's decision-making regarding this conflict?
Okay, we're going to talk real fast.
Okay.
First of all, don't call me Al.
Okay.
Second thing, yeah, I do, because we have no other choice. He should have Bush should have taken out Iran many decades ago when we had the chance. So, and now if we get the chance, then Trump should do that, wipe them out, because just like you keep bringing up, they keep feeding people money and weapons to take us out. And so we need to make sure they are taken out, I said also.
But you trust Trump to make the right call?
Yeah, because like we brought up before, he is a negotiator. Okay. So he's going to try to negotiate first. But let's face it, Iran's not going to really want to negotiate, just like they haven't been. They don't want to. Just like, I could have... I saw that coming. As soon as they were attacked, they say, oh, no, never mind. Now we want to cease fire. Because somebody smacked them really hard.
Tim, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Tim trusts, I should say, Donald Trump to make the right call. How about you, Rich? What do you think? Donald Trump, do you trust him?
Annie, this is Quick Rick.
Hi, Quick Rick.
How you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I absolutely trust the president, and it's no mystery that I support him, not only because I voted for him, but because he's making the right decisions with respect to Iran. We've been dealing with these people. Geez, I'm old enough to remember when they took hostages when just before Reagan became the president, and we've been trying to deal with these people ever since. Yeah. They don't keep agreements. They don't bargain. The only time they want to go to the table and discuss anything is when they're looking to buy time, and that's what's happening right now. Again, we need to take these guys out. We need to make sure that we do it once and for all. I'd be in favor of seeing the United States lend a few of those bunker buster bombs to Israel and maybe rent some of our B-2 bombers to take them there. But, we've got to get this done right now. This is our opportunity. And I think that this is what we owe the president.
Quick, Rick, thank you so much for the phone call. Another vote of confidence for Donald Trump there. Carl, real quick, thank you for calling the show. What do you think about Donald Trump's decision-making regarding this issue? You trust it?
Well, just like the first guy said, we have no choice. I think he's going to do. I mean, I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I'm a big Marco Rubio fan, but I think he's going to do the right thing. He doesn't mind dropping the bombs and doing the hard stuff. It needs to be done. So, but can I bring one quick thing no one's talking about?
Sure, real quick.
I'll be fast. So, Israel took out Hamas big time. All the leadership, they put bombs and put explosive in pagers, put explosive in walkie-talkies. They killed the leader of Hamas when he was having dinner at a friend's house. They took out the Iranian nuclear scientists. They knew everything. How did they not know October 7th that Hamas was going to attack them?
I don't know.
It's just wait a minute. You know exactly when the guy's having dinner at his friend's house 2 days later, and you didn't know they were setting up to come in. So that's a question I've been thinking about. How did they not know?
Carl, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. I mean, there are a lot of head scratchers about how that attack was as terrible as it was, and they didn't see it coming because Israel seems to have a leg up on a lot of things. Last call here real quick before we go. I got a minute left. Kevin, thanks for calling the show. Do you trust Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the involvement in Iran?
Oh, absolutely. And with the amount of information he has access to on a daily basis, it's mind-blowing. Just when the 4 years of the Air Force I had working with intelligence, it was just mind-blowing then. But yes, I definitely trust him, and it's just mind-blowing that the amount of history that people forget in just 25, 30 years of what's happened that they don't see and fail to see and fail to correct, and it just repeats.
Donald Trump is the guy. You trust him?
Oh, definitely.
All right.
Definitely.
Kevin, thank you for the phone call. I appreciate it. Good. We got everybody in here. We got the phones blocked. Okay. Al, obviously, I don't think that he lost confidence in Donald Trump. I think that he has never had confidence. The rest of you, while saying you do have confidence, also a lot of people who are communicating that they are ready to see the United States take care of business, which is a different conversation.
Yeah, on YouTube, Shelley says, yes, I voted for him based on his record of doing what he says. He isn't wishy-washy, and he's pretty transparent. I have to agree with that. One more from Officer Gary says, yes, I trust Trump because he has earned my trust.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't, if we can stay out of it, of course I want to stay out of it. I was just at Pearl Harbor a couple weeks ago, and listening to the stories of how long it took the United States to get involved in a war that eventually they got wrapped into. And you want to talk about military strategy that was very detrimental. The way that we grouped everything together at Pearl Harbor to keep it safe. Whoops, bad move. Do we make bad moves with good intentions? Yes. But you do have humans that are sent to make these decisions when they do. And Donald Trump's the guy right now. I trust him. Do you? Vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We'll be right back.
The success you've had in life matters. The late nights, the extra shifts, the moments you've stood up and said, I've got this. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we value your achievements because we're a school for real life. With UMGC, you can earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and relevant life and work experience, or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. As an accredited state university, we've been transforming lives for over 75 years. Choose from more than 135 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, and get ready to succeed again. Get an affordable online skills-based education to move your career forward. UMGC offers no-cost digital materials in place of textbooks in most courses, low-cost tuition, and over $21 million in scholarship opportunities each aid year. Find out if you qualify at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
In the Situation Room, I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump meeting his national security team after a post calling for Iran's unconditional surrender.
And I believe the sun is about to set on the Iran nuclear ambitions.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham just telling Fox Israel needs U.S. help to fully eliminate Iran's nuclear capabilities.
If we don't get it right now, we're going to pay later. If they survive all of this, God help us all.
Graham argues Iran's supreme leader would use a nuclear weapon, but other lawmakers, including some Republicans, say U.S. military involvement should require approval from Congress. The U.S. sending more fighter jets to the region, along with a second aircraft carrier strike group and Air Force tankers sent to Europe.
U.S. forces have not participated in any offensive strikes against Iran yet, but the U.S. military has been sharing intelligence and providing air defense of Israel from land and by sea.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. B-2 stealth bombers that can drop so-called bunker buster bombs doing damage deep underground are based in Missouri.
If the president orders them to fly, it's a 30-hour round trip to the Middle East and would require a lot of mid-air refueling, hence the pre-positioning of all those refuelers to Europe.
The Israeli military just giving a briefing.
We have delivered significant blows to the Iranian regime, and as such, they have been pushed back into central Iran.
IDF spokesperson Efri Defrin says they have a clear mission to eliminate the threat of Iran's nuclear program and ballistic missiles at the source. Iran's retaliatory strikes today have been not as intense, with fewer missiles. President Trump warning against strikes on civilians or American soldiers, posting earlier that we won't kill the supreme leader, at least not for now, but know exactly where he's hiding. The LA mayor just announcing a downtown curfew is lifted, imposed a week ago during riots over immigration raids. America is listening to Fox News.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Tuesday afternoon, partly sunny skies, warm to hot and humid, maybe a spot shower, 92 for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy, a couple of spot showers, 74. On Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy skies, windy, a couple of scattered showers and thunderstorms around. Some could be strong to severe, 88. Take that into Wednesday evening. All gone on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk, Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Air Comfort Service, keeping you in your comfort zone in the cold of the winter and the heat of the St. Louis summer. Right now, there's an opportunity for you to save and save big. So your air conditioner is on the fritz. You know that it's on borrowed time. 314-513-0091. That's the number to call. I'm a paying customer of Air Comfort Service many times over, and I encourage you to entrust your home, your HVAC system, whatever it might be, into the hands of Corey Malone's Air Comfort Service. You'll be so happy that you did because you can trust them. You will be giving people referrals about working with them. If you need to replace your air conditioner this summer or your entire HVAC system, which I have had to do, you can save up to $1,700 with Carrier Cool Cash rebates, but you don't want to wait on this. These only last through the 27th. So Air Comfort Service needs your phone call today to get that process started. Save big. They're always looking for the rebate opportunities to make sure that you don't have to overpay. 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. aircomfortservice.com.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Get this, 42% of baby boomers don't even know how much money they have in their nest egg. If you're not sure where you stand in terms of getting ready for retirement, you should be listening to the All Financial Hour with Steve All.
Let's sit down and talk about your questions, because I think that's the most important thing that it is out there. It's what questions do you have?
Tune in to the All Financial Hour with Steve All, Saturday mornings at 6, right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Protect your liver and give it the support that it deserves by making Active Liver from New Nordic part of your daily wellness routine. Find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS, Meijer Grocery, or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. During the 1 o'clock hour, we spoke with Jim Carafano, and nobody says it like Jim Carafano does. Were you able to listen to that while you were stepping out?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he always measured? But he'll talk. He's not inflammatory in what he says, but he'll give you the spectrum of what could possibly lie ahead.
Yeah, and he gave us multiple options on regime change possibilities in Iran. I really appreciated hearing that, because you haven't really heard anybody say, well, this is the end goal, because we don't really know what that is, right? I mean, peace is the end goal, but that's just a big word. How do we achieve that?
Well, we know that a little bit later in the 1 o'clock hour, the State Department came out and did a quick, brief press conference. I want to listen in. We're just going to dip in right now because it is nighttime in Israel, and Martha McCallum is talking to General Petraeus. Let's just listen in and listen.
Might be getting close to executing it. We actually set the theater, as it's called, in preparation for this. In the end, of course, Iran ultimately agreed to that nuclear agreement. And we were pretty confident. Again, there is no guarantee ever on anything. We were confident that we could execute that plan, and that the capabilities you laid out, the massive ordnance penetrator, the MOP, and the B-2 required to carry it, only we have each of those. No other country does. That we could, in fact, accomplish the mission when it came to Fordo, and frankly, the other sites as well. But there are always uncertainties. There are always unexpected developments. A plane could literally go down even just because of mechanical problems. There is still some small arms defense, even though the strategic ballistic missile and air defenses of Iran have been devastated at this point. So again, I think you lay out the options for the president. I think in this case, there might be some value in offering one last ultimatum, giving Iran a chance that if they agree to give up all of their nuclear enterprise and to allow the IAEA inspections, that might be worth exploring.
So there you have General David Petraeus, the former CENTCOM commander. Gosh, the gravity of this situation, this moment in time, is massive. But can you imagine, just for a second, I mean, remembering that Donald Trump is human just like the rest of us. Sometimes when people become super inaccessible to us, you can kind of aggrandize celebrities, maybe star athletes or whatever, but you realize that they do put their pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. You have to have somebody who's got stones of steel in this moment to be able to handle the pressure of the moment. Can you imagine being Donald Trump sitting in the Situation Room right now? Because they're having they're meeting with the Security Council. The entire world is looking at Donald Trump right now.
Yeah.
And he has the ability. I've got goosebumps even thinking about it. His move will change the course of history. It could change the world in such an impactful way in both directions. And with the best of intentions, it could go south. He could make a bad decision and get lucky, but it's on him. Did you see when he was at the G7 gathering in Canada? He was standing on stage with Macron and the new Canadian Prime Minister, who I can't remember his name. And
Dear Karmer.
Sure. If you say so.
I actually don't even know if I got that right.
I'm just going to call him not Trudeau.
Yeah.
He's standing up there, and the press is just like cackling hens trying to get a question into Donald Trump. He at one point goes, "Do you have any questions for anybody else?" It's probably, I mean, I wouldn't, I'm not even going to say that Donald Trump isn't a humble person. That might make Al fall off his seat. Al, if you're driving, just pull over and take a breath. Does Donald Trump have? I think Donald Trump has the ability to be humble. I think that who Donald Trump is in private is probably humble.
I do too.
I think who he is in public is intentionally flamboyant's not the right word. Extravagant. It's a character, I think, that he sort of plays. But how many times have we heard stories from people who know him personally, have experienced things personally, and the amount of generosity that he has that goes undiscussed is profound. Is Donald Trump humble? Man, that's a good poll question.
Yeah, it's by the way, Mark Carney. The guy I was quoting is the UK Prime Minister.
You were close.
Whatever.
I approved.
Yeah.
You had
Keir
me.
Starmer. I think
Yeah.
I even flipped the first
Steer
letters of his name.
Karmer.
Steer
That's what
Karmer.
you said.
Yeah, you were.
That's a Gary Foot situation right
Gary
there.
Foot, exactly.
Al's like, these people don't know anything. And we're like, it's true.
Immediately fact checked it though.
Yeah.
You can trust. The thing about Donald Trump, and this is one of those ones that if you saw it and you hated the man, you would not care about it at all. But I saw a quote from him the other day, like within the last couple of days, that really stood out to me. And he could definitely be saying this just to score points. You never know. It just didn't sound that way to me. That somebody was asking him about Sleepy Joe and the nicknames and the fact that Joe was, barely there. He'd call Lid at 11 o'clock a.m. and not be there and all that stuff. And he's the thing that he said about it was, well, I stay up at night thinking about how to save America. And just talking about his lack of sleep and, his schedule.
Burden.
And again, that's something that any good politician would say. But when he said it, it just sounded like, no, that probably is what he's doing, is constantly thinking, A, outside the box, B, how do I make this better for this country? How do I set things up long term, way past himself, to ensure success for America, which in a lot of ways ensures success for the world as a force for good in the world. And when he said it, I just thought that's something. Right,
you believed him.
I did believe him.
And I mean, that's really just, it's much like today's poll. I'm just asking you your gut feeling in this poll. There's no measure. You could take an actual scientific poll, not to say that these aren't scientific, but boy, they're more of the scientific polls that we take here on the Annie Fry Show. But intuition is an incredibly powerful thing. And I'll say this as a parent, Ryan, when you have a gut feeling and it's about your kids, how often do you go against your gut feeling? Hardly ever, if ever.
You almost like got to check it just to make sure. Even if you're like, I don't believe that would be the case, but I gotta check it.
As a parent, I feel, if I'm checking, if I have a gut feeling about something and I don't follow my instincts and the bad thing happens because I didn't follow my instincts, it would be hard to forgive myself.
Yeah.
Which is, to me, like the truest sense of like checking your intuition is when you have those gut feelings, where do they take you? Do you have the ability to listen to it? Do you trust your own intuition? I guess there are people who are probably like, I have the worst intuition. They're not in tune with it. But I'm asking you that question today on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Do you trust Donald Trump? Does your gut instinct say, we got to trust somebody with this? And of all the people in the world, I'm glad Donald Trump is the man making these decisions. It's not to say that if he is making the decisions that you're not pre-defending decisions that haven't already been made, which is really kind of the summation of the conversation we had with Al. Was he started it with like, what decisions are we making? Or what decision did he make? And I'm like, that's not the question. Which is generally, if you're arguing with, if the predicate for the entire conversation is an obsessive hatred of Donald Trump, you got to go into that conversation knowing that you're not going to make those people not hate Donald Trump at the end. It doesn't matter what the details are, which is evident when they make a point, you respond to it, and you dispel it, at least as far as you're concerned, and their response is about something, but what about? And it's something completely different. That means they're losing the argument, so they're changing the argument. And that's fine. I don't mind that, because that makes me feel like I responded to your criticism and you had nothing to say back on that. Okay. Fire away. Let's do it again. I came across this post, Mazemore on X put this up, and it was quite stunning to me. So we're going to watch the video here on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, but of course you're listening to it with us here on 97.1 FM Talk. And I'm going to read for you the post that goes along with this video. Here's a quick history lesson for everyone who has suddenly lost faith in President Trump's judgment and desire for peace. June 2019, Iran shoots down an unmanned U.S. drone. 2019 would be Trump term number 1. Bolton, Pompeo, Pence, and many of the other Washington warmongers pushed Trump to authorize a retaliatory strike. It was estimated that about 150 Iranians would be killed. At the last moment, Trump called off the strike. So to go along with this story here and the understanding of how this took place, it's quite fitting that we go to, of course, Al was mentioning he doesn't like Fox News. How did, at the time, CNN report on this story? Here's John King of CNN talking about Iran striking the United States, shooting down a drone. The people surrounding the president are like, we got to retaliate. We got to retaliate. It's probably going to cost 150 Iranian civilians.
Up first in a busy hour, a high-stakes confrontation that came within minutes of becoming a higher-stakes conflict. President Trump gave the go order Thursday for strikes targeting Iranian missile batteries and radar installations. And then, with just minutes to spare, he aborted the mission. The president says he decided in the end it was not proportional.
Everybody was saying I'm a warmonger, and now they say I'm a dove. And I think I'm neither. You want to know the truth. I'm a man with common sense, and that's what we need in this country is common sense. But I didn't like the idea of them knowingly shooting down an unmanned drone, and then we kill 150 people. I didn't like that.
Now, we know the president's top national security advisors favored the targeted strikes, and those competing views are on public display today. In his remarks to reporters yesterday, the president said he was confident sanctions against Iran were working, even held out hope they would eventually come back to the bargaining table to negotiate a new nuclear deal. But in Israel today, listen here, the Trump National Security Advisor John Bolton striking a more hawkish tone.
Neither Iran nor any other hostile actor should mistake U.S. prudence and discretion for weakness. No one has granted them a hunting license in the Middle East. And as he made clear yesterday, referring to his earlier remarks, the president said, I just stopped the strike from going forward at this time.
And so when you watch this play out, especially, it's a known fact that the Secretary of State, the National Security Advisor, the Vice President told the President they thought this was a good plan, targeted strikes. They said, go for it. The President pulls back. You have a Republican Party. Imagine if President Obama had done this. Mm-hmm. Well, President Obama did not enforce his red line in Syria, for example, and the Republicans were harshly critical, saying you make America look weak. Listen to one Republican here. We know how hawkish she is in her heart, Liz Cheney, the daughter of the former Vice President Dick Cheney.
If, Iran thinks that it can demonstrate to the world that somehow it's able to take advantage of the United States, that it's able to attack and destroy one of our drones without any consequence, or with the only consequence being that we now ask to speak to them, I think that's very dangerous.
The president was asked also yesterday, as he was boarding the helicopter for Camp David, if the threat to civilian life had been less than 150, and if it had been 10 or 15 people, would you then have been more comfortable with the strike? And he sort of paused and said, not necessarily. He suggested that unless there's human casualties, unless there's U.S. or allied human life on the line, he just doesn't have the appetite for that.
Do you remember all that? It kind of comes back, but there's a situation where, of course, it's first term Donald Trump. He's surrounded by all these people who are like, you got to punch him back. You got to punch him back harder. And you've got CNN reporting on the fact that at the last minute, Donald Trump's like, this is not right. I'm not going to take 150 lives because they shot down a drone. That doesn't mean he's not going to do anything, but he said it wasn't proportional. He was doing that in his first term. If he had that sort of resolve, that sort of principle, the man has his feet firmly planted on terra firma that is fortified by his worldview, by his experience, by his courage. I think if you're a warmonger, you're just going to say, what does the military industrial complex need? Send it away. Fire. That's what you're going to do. And Donald Trump, against the advice of all the people in his cabinet, said this is not proportional.
Yeah, that clip that you just played there is kind of a time capsule, because it's 2019. That's 6 years ago. And we're still talking about Iran, of course, so same issue. But it is a move that the Republican Party has made away, because in my lifetime, the Republican Party has been the party that has, I don't want to say always supported war, but you had your peaceful Democrats and your war hawks that were more on the Republican side. And that is very much changed. I don't know why Democrats have embraced that faction of politics like they have in the last 4 years, especially. But now you really do have, second term, Trump has surrounded himself with people who are less prone to just want to jump into those things based on what he was saying in his first term when he had people around him like John Bolton. So there's been an evolution there very much.
When I saw that clip last night, I thought, man, I trust him more now because of something that took place in 2019. YouTube live chat poll. We want to know from you. We're about 16 votes shy, 300 votes today. We'd love to get this over 300 on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Do you stand by Donald Trump's decision making regarding the United States involvement in Iran? Yes or no? Pretty sure we're adding texting to the station here shortly, and we're going to be able to get your thoughts through a text line in addition to the YouTube live chat poll. So stay tuned for that. Podcast available at AnnieFryShow.com/podcast, and also the must-have Odyssey app, AUDACY. Go find 97.1 FM Talk, favorite it, and never miss a thing. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. Easy to call, easy to text. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Now, the Bagel Loan means that you get your mortgage, new or refi, at $0 in closing costs to you. You can only get a Bagel Loan at Stewart's American Mortgage, and you can get Stewart's American Mortgage by calling or texting my friend Stewie at 314-324-4440. Consider what a mortgage refinance can do for you. Consider how you can work through the process of purchasing a new home and positioning yourself for the best possible financial outcome. A very quick close, less than 2 weeks. You can close on a new home purchase with Stewart's American Mortgage, and then you can save all that extra money in your pocket that you're not paying towards closing costs, thousands of dollars potentially. I consistently get messages from you fine listeners who say, finally reached out to Stewie. Great guy. Can't wait to do business with him. How about you next? 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440. Call or text. Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
I'm Emma Greed, and I've spent the last 20 years building, running, and investing in some incredible businesses. The more success I've had, the more people started coming to me with questions. How do you start a business? How do you raise money? How do I bounce back from failure? On my new podcast, Aspire with Emma Greed, I'll be answering these questions and more through weekly conversations with the smartest minds out there. Listen to and follow Aspire with Emma Greed, an Odyssey podcast available now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-472-0467. 800-472-0467. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-472-0467.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan and Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com. If it's time for new windows, there's only one place to call. That is Window World. Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Window World at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate today. If you have any questions, they'll be glad to send someone out to explain all of it to you. You can even schedule right online at windowworldstl.com. You know, there's a lot of high-interest financing out there, but here's what Window World's doing. Right now, they're offering 18 up to 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. You can't beat that. You also get a lifetime warranty that covers all of the parts, the glass breakage, and labor. Who else stands behind their product like that? Over half the appointments Window World will set this year are from previous customers or referrals from those customers. That is a testimony to their customer service, their quality, and their commitment to creating loyal customers. That's what you get with Window World. Call them at 314-993-1800, windowworldstl.com.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FAME to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
The Reign St. Louis West is launching the countdown to 250 years of American freedom this July by giving away 5,000 rounds of 9mm ammo. 5 winners will get 1,000 rounds each, and winners are going to be drawn July 1st. Don't miss your shot. Enter now at therangestl.com/ammo. You have to be 21 or older to enter. It's open to Missouri residents and Illinois residents with a valid FOID card. No purchase necessary. therangestl.com/ammo.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Annie Fry Show, now cooked in 100% beef tallow.
You get the keys to the kingdom 1 time.
4 times.
That's the liberty you took, buddy.
Those are good liners. I like those.
You said you had a question you wanted to ask me?
Yeah, I got a real question. I've been thinking about this all day, oddly.
In radio life, when you work in radio, there are conversations that you want to start with people when you're around them that you're like, we can't talk about.
No, hang on.
Then you got to wait for the air, and then you forget. And then you just hold on to it for the moment. And I guess this is one of those times.
This is one of those. Have you seen, are you a big fan of Meghan Markle and their relationship, the royals?
I'm mad that I even know her name.
Okay.
I'm not mad at her because she's a sucky person. I wish I didn't know she existed.
Yep.
I don't like that she takes up any of my brain cells, and I don't like you for bringing it up.
I'm a huge fan.
Okay.
Some people
She's your people.
used to have, New Kids on the Block sheets and stuff. I got Meghan Markle sheets.
I got
posters.
the Meghan Markle sheets.
Okay. So
that explains a lot. Go on.
Huge fan of the not the ones that live in the palace though. I like the ones that live out in LA. Like your British royals. But
What is your
in
question? This is too much time on this issue.
Has to do with the pregnancy.
I only know she's pregnant from the dancing video.
That's the only reason I know too. Even though I'm a huge fan.
Even though you have her sheets.
Right. And I follow everything. So the dancing video is very confusing to me because I don't want to believe in a conspiracy theory in which I have no clue what the point of having a conspiracy about it would be. This one would be that she is faking a pregnancy. And that video shows that is definitely, I mean, this is what people say. I'm not saying this, but that video.
It's because you're a apologist.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I don't want to believe the worst about my heroes.
You're the first person to say that about her.
That she's dancing in that
the
video.
The cross section of people who are big Meghan Markle fans and big Doug Burgum fans is not huge.
And Lutnickies.
The Lutnickies.
But it is very odd in that video when they zoom in and they do the internet thing and they go, look at her stomach.
Are you questioning her belly?
It does look fake.
I didn't look at it that long.
So my question is, have you looked at the video apparently long enough, which you haven't,
like the Zapruder film,
to find
if you zoom in here
to find out whether or not that is a legitimate pregnant woman's belly?
Nope, didn't care enough.
This is what I was waiting for, and now I still don't know. You're my source on this because I guarantee my wife would not care at all either. But you're on the internet enough that you've seen the video.
I saw it because people were speculating. The speculation that I saw was that, what's his name? It's not Will. Will's the other one.
Harry.
Is that Harry got another woman pregnant and they're gonna raise that baby?
Oh, see, I didn't even see the reason. Now there's at least something.
I read the first half of that tweet and scrolled on. That's all I know. Or
Harry got another woman pregnant when Harry met Sally, and now Sally's pregnant.
I don't know that we know that it's Sally.
Well, whoever she is, now it all makes sense. Thanks for clarifying nothing, though.
You're welcome.
Well, that was fun.
I was just trying to think of if it was. Did I spend too much time with Al, or did I spend too much time with you on this topic?
For sure, this.
Mm-hmm.
I will agree with you that this was a worthless topic. Do you want to hear more about mistakes men make?
Oh yeah, I could. You want me to do it or you?
I don't care. It's your show.
Let's go. Let's just dive back a little bit. Let's go through the time warp to 1245 when we did Wiggins America. Mistakes that men make regularly that annoy women they love, and we were talking about personal grooming, and Ethan didn't understand, and then he got a text from his dad.
Yeah. His dad said, "Clean yourself up,
Time out.
son."
What was the thing? What was the point? What is it that men do that annoy women?
these are all different things that men do that annoy women, but that they're not big enough deals that the women will bring them up. So I'm saying let's bring them up, get them out in the open, and they were just as follows, really quick. The ones we did: get philosophical during cuddle time.
I couldn't answer to that one.
And then watch TV, read, or scroll their timeline during an important conversation. Don't understand the value of cut flowers. I like that it says cut there because I get a flower growing. That's a plant.
Yeah, because you're the type of person to be like, honey, there's flowers out there. Just look at them.
Yeah, look at those instead. Those will be around for a while and they're free.
Next.
Insist on a level of grooming that they are in no way prepared to reciprocate.
Which, if you went and listened, you could go back on the Odyssey app. You could listen to the podcast. You could scroll back on the Annie Fry YouTube live broadcast. We entered this point with a grooming.
Yep.
Self-grooming. We said that. And Ethan was like, oh, I love this subject. Let's talk about this. I don't groom. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't even care. I stand on a mirror. I don't even care.
And
that's what he said. I mean, that's what he said.
You have to check the tape. To which Wait, were we off the air when Ethan goes,
Yes.
oh.
You were doing a live for
I
Ruler
think
Foods.
we were wrapping up, and I was like, wait a second. And they're like, nope, got a break.
And then Dad texted.
I get a text during the Ruler Foods live, and I just fell over and lost it.
Yeah, and I couldn't look at you because I knew something was going on. I didn't know exactly what. No, it was infinite vitality.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
And I soldiered through that one.
Yes, you did.
And I get a text from my father that says, oh, dude, you need to make sure you're grooming.
It's a little Father's Day advice extension here.
Right.
Oh.
So there.
Amy on YouTube says, mistakes men make, release the scroll.
Wait, what does that mean?
Don't worry about
Does
it.
that mean that there's a lot of them?
I don't know.
Release
Ethan's
the scroll.
dad will explain it to you later.
Yeah, what does that one mean? What's a scroll?
Yeah, what? Yeah, I don't know either, Ethan.
You know.
I'm going to be scared to answer any of these now.
When my wife brings up a scroll tonight, I'm going to be like, what? This is secret
You
code.
wanted to do what with the scroll?
What?
All right, other things men do to annoy women, like not stay on topic.
They say things that are generic with deep sincerity to their wives or significant others. They say things like, you had me at hello, or you complete me, with real sincerity, even though they're lame.
Jerry Maguire.
Are they?
Yes.
Good job. Spaceballs is doing fine today. Is this happen?
Apparently.
I mean,
it's the thing that
listen,
men are so bad at saying genuine things
No.
that they'll just borrow from movies.
No, and by the time you're in a marriage, you don't say things that other people would say. You see things. We've talked about love languages before. Oh, if you haven't read the love languages book, do it. I'm talking to you men, especially. I'm sure they're all going to go do that now. But the
Love languages.
women know what their spouse's love language is. Like I could see saying like you complete me or something like that. And if my husband said that to me, I would laugh at him and tell him to shut up. And
You're proving the point.
He would expect, but I mean, he would be saying it ironically. We would be in it together
Okay.
because he completes me.
So you're on the same page.
Yeah.
Even with your little jokes, your little fun jokes.
If you're married to somebody and they're using those weird movie quote platitudes to like keep the fires burning,
Yikes.
Yeah.
Good luck, soldiers.
Next one, they insist on a level of grooming they're nowhere prepared to reciprocate. Shoot, we already did that one. Just wanted to remind you, though, just in case your name's Ethan. They try to solve every problem instead of just listening sometimes. We've talked about this before.
I'm really proud of Jared. He doesn't do any of these things. We have Mrs. Wiggins on the line here.
No, are you kidding me?
No, I lost her.
That is not funny.
His heart
It's pretty
stopped
funny.
for a second.
The tone.
She would do that. Annie would do that. She probably has done that.
She would do that? Annie or Mrs.
Annie.
Wiggins?
I'm talking to Ethan about you.
I'm here. I can
I
hear you.
know, but you're a she right now because I don't want to talk to you.
Right now?
Technically a she all the time.
I was
Thank you
gonna
very
say,
much.
Is she ever not?
It says in her email, she, her.
It does not. That's what it says in your email. Go on.
Men don't take the bait when she's fishing for a compliment.
Yeah. That's exhausting for men, though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is.
But you still got to do it.
Compliment fishing, like fishing where people are swimming, can be annoying.
Is that like does this dress make me look fat? Is that what you're talking about? Compliment fishing?
That's the most basic version of it, but you got to be smarter than that.
Thank you.
You're
Ryan.
welcome.
You broke in.
Every now and then, I hit it, and I think I got it there. They take their teams too seriously.
No. That's it. I mean, that's just like.
All right, we're all right there, guys.
I just think that if these are things that are annoying women, then you're in a bad relationship.
There are levels to being immature about it, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe, but I just think women do the same thing. Like, if you got to sit down and watch Desperate Housewives and you really care what Shonda is saying to Lisa, I think that's stupider.
What about during football season? Some guys are like, all right, Thursdays, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Mondays, you don't get any access because I'm watching football.
You're say action.
You think? Access.
You said access. What are they trying to? What are the women trying to
Maybe
access?
it's the same thing. No, I think, I mean, in my house, when Notre Dame is playing, we know what's going to happen. But it's fine.
Yeah, you get out of my way on Sundays. Go Pack, go. It's my time.
He's talking about the cheese factory.
Yeah, go pack. I need to go pack cheese.
I can only imagine you running your household with an iron fist for the NFL. Why does that not sound right?
Every Sunday, you got to get out of my way. I got to go pack cheese, which is also still associated with the Green Bay Packers.
Well, sure.
Cheese heads.
But I'm talking about real cheese. I'm talking about Applewood smoked Gouda. And I need it, and I need it now. And I need to pack this up so I can go.
Oh, right. Is there another one?
242 this time check.
Not the time check.
The last one. They try to look cool in front of their friends, maybe even at your expense.
Oh, that's not cool. That's not annoying.
Not
that's bad.
respecting your wife because the boys are around.
Again, get out of this relationship.
I'm just imagining just Ryan just next to Mrs. Wiggins, just like, shut up, and just turning to the guys like, yeah, disrespecting women.
Go pick yourself some
It's not
flowers.
even a funny joke.
Do you?
Like,
You
shut
laughed.
up because you're a girl.
Do you hang around the boys
You would say.
around your wife? Are those groups together?
Once in a while, but not often.
Do the boys have spouses that are the girls?
Yeah, but they're not all. Some of them are friends and some of them don't know each other as well. So it depends. Why?
I'm just wondering if you're in a position like everybody who, for the most, pretty much everybody who my husband and I hang out with, we hang out with together.
Yeah.
I don't really have the girls and he doesn't really have the boys. We have friends and it's all kind of a couple thing.
We don't. She has work friends where I know the husbands, but we're not great friends, but we're not, it's fine. And then the same thing for me. A lot of my friends.
You have friends here?
She knows the wives, and I don't know, like, it's weird to me that people don't have a ton of friends. Like I have so many friends, I don't know what to do with them. Sometimes people are calling me and just asking for advice because they're like, you're so wise and stuff. And it's just like, gosh, this is annoying.
At what point did we lose him, Annie? What was the point?
I didn't fall for it that time.
Gonna call her on the air.
You are gonna call her on the air.
My immediate twitch is like, what did I do to make that happen? Over here, you're causing me anxiety.
Do you have the boys, Ethan?
Oh yeah.
Does she have the girls?
Not to the extent that I have the boys, but she is great with the boys. But the great thing about the wives that are in our boyfriend group is that a lot of them do really well with the guys. So it's still the boys, but it's like plus a couple of the girls.
Do you have a thought? Wait. Do you have a thought on this?
Did you say your boyfriend group?
Yeah. You're in it.
No, I'm not.
Gotta have love for your homies, Ryan.
I'm a coworker. Me and Ethan, we barely get along.
Let's talk about work friends when we come back.
Okay.
Do you stand by Donald Trump's decision making regarding the United States' involvement in Iran? Yes or no? The Annie-Fry YouTube live chat poll is live. 321 votes so far. Get yours in. We will feature some of your comments here. Jackie said, I trust Trump. It does not mean I am not concerned about the involvement with Israel over Iran. Jackie, you and me, girl, completely. Get your thoughts in. Get your vote in. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Okay, STS Armory this weekend, Saturday, June 21st, their grand reopening at their brand new business in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And I'm going to show up at about 2 o'clock on this Saturday, and I really hope that you're there. The new address is 3427 Petroff Plaza in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. And here's what the grand reopening at STS Armory online at sts-armory.com. What they're going to have, the place I go to buy firearms, ammunition, security to get classes. I got my conceal and carry license renewed there last fall. This weekend, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'll be there at 2 o'clock. They're celebrating their grand reopening for their customers. The first day of summer with barbecue pulled pork from Code 3 Spices. Delicious. Hot dogs. Me to You gaming truck's going to be there in the afternoon for the kids to play.
And they're going to be launching their logoed apparel and drinkware this Saturday. They're going to have extra special deals, door prizes. Industry vendors are going to be there. It's the grand reopening at STS Armory. Please come see us 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. this Saturday in Pontoon Beach, Illinois, STS Armory. I'm going to be there at 2 o'clock. Come on out. We're going to have a great time. STS-armory.com.
Mark Cox here. Let me introduce you to my friends at the Lit Cigar Lounge in St. Louis, where luxury meets comfort. Premium hand-rolled cigars, an extensive selection of rare bourbons and whiskeys and craft cocktails. It's comfortable for non-smokers, too. They have a state-of-the-art ventilation system. They have private lockers and live music every Friday night, perfect for date nights or business meetings or just winding down. Visit litstl.com.
Mizzou football is here to stay. After an undefeated home season and a second straight 10-win year, the Tigers are looking for more in 2025.
Eli and the boys have done it again.
With a top 10 transfer portal class and a strong home schedule highlighted by Kansas, Alabama, South Carolina, and Texas A&M, you don't want to miss out. Get your spot in line by joining the season ticket waitlist at mutigers.com/FB waitlist. MIZ.
Your home is your sanctuary. Get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSuperCenterofStLouis.com.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now, but all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes, and find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
A lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, this is my last hope. The next step is getting them in the right arch supports. Our goal is to have that long-term change for them, to see someone that is in pain. I change things for them. See how we can help you with a free fitting at the Good Feet store.
YouTube live chat poll today is, do you stand by Donald Trump's decision-making regarding the United States involvement in Iran? It's a yes or no question, and we will give you the results of this poll in just a matter of minutes. 2:50. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. You're listening to The Annie Fry Show, live at 1.0 speed.
Deep down in Louisiana, close to New Orleans.
That's a new one.
Yeah.
Are you just going to keep doing these?
I don't know, maybe. I think you've heard all the newest ones now, though. That was the last one you hadn't heard.
I had not heard that one. 1.0 speed.
Yep.
Sometimes it feels like it's maybe a little slower.
Live at one. You can't really be faster than that live. That's what's so funny.
Yes, you can. Did you hear the callers at 125?
Yeah, I did. Actually, you got a minute. Okay, hang on. Here we go.
Oh man. Weird to be like, oh, and by the way, here, last second on the Annie Fry show, I do want to talk about this because I saw the story and I was like, wait, what? New York Post, FBI Director Kash Patel forked over a trove of documents to Congress detailing an alleged Chinese campaign to meddle in the 2020 election that involved thousands of bogus United States driver's licenses. Precise details about the alleged effort are murky, but a confidential source alleged the Chinese planned to use those licenses for thousands of mail-in votes to benefit former Vice President Joe Biden. A spokesperson for the FBI honcho explained to the Post. Authorities had caught wind of the alleged plot around August 2020, but intelligence reports on it were recalled for reasons that are not fully clear, the spokesperson added. U.S. Customs and Border Protection seized almost 20,000 fake licenses around that time. Biden won the swing states of Arizona and Georgia by more than 10,000 and 12,000 votes, respectively. And President Donald Trump's margin of defeat in Wisconsin was more than 20,000 votes. Patel declassified the intelligence report and sent it over to the Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley for additional vetting. If you remember, August of 2020, which is when this plot was exposed. Do you remember what was going on right about then?
I do.
Laptop, Russian disinformation.
Yeah.
How many different security intelligence community people signed on a letter that's like, oh, this has got the makings of Russian election interference all over it. Heard about that over and over and again, and that was bologna sausage. However, here we have an actual plot to infiltrate and affect the outcome of the election, and we're hearing about it just in the nick of time in June of 2025. This makes me mad.
It makes me mad too, but there is a drip, drip, drip of this in the background going on within the national intelligence agencies, the FBI, DOJ, because this is not the first time I've heard of, that particular case is the first time I've heard of it. But there's other things. Tulsi said about a month ago that they're looking into the hacking of the machines. And then that's it. That's pretty much all she said. And she said it's pretty serious. And that's it. So at some point, you could have a big breaking story from these little breadcrumbs you're getting like this. You never know which one it'll be, but it could be something. The numbers in that are interesting because it said something like 20,000 votes that they were looking to swing. And it said specifically to Biden.
20,000 fake licenses.
Yeah.
That were intended to use to affect the outcome of the election in Joe Biden's behalf. From China. But I mean, like, there's no connection between the Bidens and China, so I don't even understand why that would
I don't either. There's no paper trail or money trail.
Yet.
Well, there is.
Give them time. Is it the YouTube poll for today is, do you trust Donald Trump's decision making? Do you trust the situation of the moment in Donald Trump's hands? Do you trust Kash Patel?
Yeah.
Dan Bongino?
I do. I think those guys are trustworthy. And I also trust them when it doesn't turn out the way that you expected.
I trust them more.
I do too. Like when they say things that you go, well, Epstein definitely killed himself. And they're like, no, we've seen the video. There is video that proves that he didn't.
Did Epstein have family?
No idea.
Like, does Epstein have anybody who he cared about more than himself?
I wouldn't be surprised if he had like 1 billion kids that he didn't know about. But I have no idea about his family.
I mean, I could think of scenarios where people could be persuaded to kill themselves or else. But in that instance, like in my mind, the only way that you go through with that is to save somebody else's life that you care about more than your own.
I don't know.
So did he kill himself? Yes. But did he kill himself for a particular reason? You know, like if you're looking to not endure what the future holds, okay, whatever. But if you're in a position where someone's threatening you, like you're going to do this, I would assume that the people who everybody's side-eyeing about potentially being involved with Jeffrey Epstein's death would most benefit if Jeffrey Epstein killed himself.
Mm-hmm.
But the only way they could persuade him to do that is if he thought that was the way to protect someone else.
Yeah,
there's no other reason to do it.
Right.
I'm just spitballing, of course, but it just makes me think that like the way that they said it, the way that Bongino and Patel said he killed himself, it was matter of fact in that the act was done by Epstein, but there wasn't a lot of elaborative commentary surrounding it.
No.
And so that's just what, in my weird brain and analytical, like assuming that there's more to the story still, I'm just thinking he killed himself, but there's more to that story that they haven't divulged. Anyway, I don't know. YouTube live chat poll. Ethan, you want to hit us with the results?
It's a good day for the YouTube live chat poll.
All right.
333 votes
Thanks,
today.
guys.
Do
for showing
you
up.
stand by Donald Trump's decision making regarding the United States' involvement in Iran? Another day, not close today. 90% say yes. They stick with Trump. They trust his decision making. 10% say no.
My X feed would have suggested this would have been closer.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Maybe not switched, but closer. Thank you for participating today. Follow us on our Annie Fry YouTube channel. Download the Odyssey app and keep it right here. Mark Reardon's next.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough money to retire? Well, you can find out how you can make your money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey, it's Sue Thomas, and this is a one-night class. It's taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects. They have decades of financial planning experience, and they hold these at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You will learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security income, paying for health care, all of it. And there's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for St. Louis Crisis Nursery. Now, there are a handful of openings for the classes this month and next. Just register by calling 314-947-2012, 314-947-2012. It's the Sue Thomas number, 314-947-2012.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Been stopped. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Iran still targeting Israel with retaliatory strikes, though not as many missiles as Israeli jets continue airstrikes.
The IDF tonight says they have destroyed 40%